We've hit 4th of July weekend here in Orleans. On July 3rd, we're the only show in town. Firebirds taking on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks tonight right here at Eldredge in Orleans. Dylan Pescatore, Ian Nicholas right here on the Scorching Start pregame show. And Ian, what a game it was last night. A thriller right here at Eldredge. Back and forth game. Each team having defensive lapses, base running lapses, but it ended off with a walk-off for the Firebirds.
Yeah, it's the most resiliency his team has shown all season. You know, you have a 5-3 lead in the 7th inning, and then something happens that nobody could have expected, a pop-up that got lost in the lights. Joe Oyama, not to blame. It's just it happens to, unfortunately, too many baseball players, but then you got to move on. And how you respond is more important than the mistake that you made, even if you can call it a mistake. Orleans goes behind by 1. Oyama ties the game with a sac fly just an inning later. And then the big blow, Johnny Olmstead, who over the last 3 games has been the best player on this team. And I can say that with so much confidence, even after his cold start. He's just playing like a beast right now. And he came up in the big spot, launching one right up the middle of the infield to win the game. So what a win for the momentum of this team. 4-4 in its last 8, but I really think tonight could be an opportunity to build on last night's emotional win. You got to harness that emotion and realize there's so much more season to play.
Yes, it is. It's game 20. The Firebirds are looking to get to the 500 mark, 10-10. How can they do it tonight with Dylan Jacobs on the mound, who's been good and has to continue to keep that consistency?
Yeah, Dylan Jacobs, not a win in his last start, but there's no reason why he did everything possible in order to get that win. I mean, he pitched 5 innings, really clean. The last 2 innings were spectacular. Under double-digit pitches in those 2 innings combined. It's because he gets a lot of weak contact out of guys. He has 9 strikeouts through roughly 14 innings on the mound, so he's not a guy who's necessarily going to retire guys via the K, but he just gets a lot of weak contact, really good off-speed offerings, and he's been a catalyst for a couple of really big performances for this Orleans defense and pitching unit as a whole this season. Excited to see what he can do in start number 4 of the summer. It's against a solid Hyannis offense, but I think he's up to the task.
And Jacobs has a little bit more pressure on the mound. 399 wins for Kelly Nicholson, the manager, looking for 400 today. What would it mean to do it right here?
Well, this is the place for Kelly Nicholson built, right? I mean, I know not literally. They were the Cardinals. They've been around for 100 years. Kelly Nicholson now in his 22nd year with the team, 18th as a manager. But when you think Orleans Firebirds, you think of all the great players that have rolled through, Dylan, but you think Kelly Nicholson first. He is one of the greatest in this league. He is synonymous with Cape Cod Baseball League baseball. And if you catch my drift, and at the end of the day, to do it here at Eldredge Park with July 4th right around the corner and thousands of people packing the hill, I mean, there's no better environment to do it. So you have an opportunity tonight or tomorrow, both home games. Obviously, you like to get it out of the way and just check that off the bucket list.
Looking to get that out of the way for win 400, looking for win number 10. Now let's go to our 3rd member of the booth, Sammy Miller. She has more on Fenwick Trimble, who's really looking into a certain quote about how to stay consistent.
This Firebirds team is filled from top to bottom with true competitors who show up to the ballpark every single day with the intent to win. I spoke to JMU's Fenwick Trimble, and he said their goal is to fight until the very last out in every single game, which was very evident last night in their walk-off victory. It also showcases the championship culture that is built by none other than Kelly Nicholson here in Orleans. Of course, it's fun to have a great summer and create awesome memories, but it's even more fun when you're able to win, and I know these guys are hungry to bring that title back to Orleans. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, and I'm here with new Firebird Justin Rubin out of Virginia. Justin, you made your debut last night in a crazy game. You came in the 7th inning, got one of the wackiest hits in the infield. So how can you even sum up your debut? You come in the 7th and you end it with a walk-off.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. Doesn't really get much better than that. It was a great environment to walk into. Everyone's kind of treated me like family since the day I got here. So it was easy acclimation, and that makes it, that much easier to step on the field and make impact.
First time here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, through a day and now a game through. How's your experience been?
It's been awesome. I got a great host family, love the staff, and the guys around me are great. So,
Justin Rubin out of Virginia plays all the way around the infield. You're really known for your defense. You are a gold glover out there. Is there anyone or anything that you can kind of point to on how you've gotten so good with the glove?
So everyone loves to hit. I always love the field. And, my dad's, I've been blessed, he's a baseball coach, and his favorite thing to do is hit fungo. So any field we can find, any, patch of grass or any parking lot, wherever, is just mass ground balls. And, watching, growing up around the game, and, I always looked up to Brandon Crawford, who played here, and he's got a video of him doing all these types of tricks and kind of inspired me to do the same.
Brennan Crawford, shortstop over on the San Francisco Giants. He was also a Firebird, like you said. Every one of these players brings a new kind of impact to the team, whether they're a pitcher or a hitter, fast runner, long hits, power hitting. What do you bring to the Firebirds?
I would say a little bit of everything. I'm a better competitor than I am a baseball player. Kind of like big moments and kind of stepping up when the pressure's on. You know, I can hit for average and run a little bit. I love the field, and you know, hopefully I'll get into a few and put a couple out.
That'd be great. 300 in left, 314 and right over in Eldredge. Last question, Justin. Last night was the craziest game right here at Eldredge this season. What was your perspective from the Johnny Olmsted home run? Or walk-off, I should say.
I mean, Johnny's been nothing but spectacular since I got here, so I wouldn't really expect anything less. The guy can hit.
Big win for the Firebirds tonight, and they take on Hyannis. Back to you, Ian.
Justin Rubin in the starting lineup tonight. He's playing shortstop for Kelly Nicholson's crew and head of an important game. Win number 400 for the longtime skipper on the line, and it starts right now, just a few moments away. 6:30 first pitch, Hyannis Orleans from Eldredge Park. Stay tuned. This has been the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Precipice of history here on the Birds Broadcast Network. One win away is number 400 for manager Kelly Nicholson on July 3rd right here at Eldredge Park in Orleans. Dylan Pescatore and Ian Nicholas, your broadcasters for the 2023 season. It's the Firebirds and the Harbor Hawks here at Eldredge for the first time this year, Ian, after the last time was almost a month ago.
Yes, the Orleans season got kicked off with a win at Hyannis 4-2 at least 3 to 4 weeks ago. Tonight, looking for a similar result. It was a game dominated by defense and good pitching. The pitching's been fantastic all summer long for Orleans. Daniel Avidia was the guy starting that night. Tonight, it's the rising junior from Stetson, Dylan Jacobs.
Dylan Jacobs is the starter. Last time out against Katuitt, he was matching zeros with Cam Hill, one of the best pitchers in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Kelly Nicholson on the verge. One win away from 400, a historic win as we get ready for some baseball here from Orleans. First pitch from Jacobs is in for a strike. And the first batter for Hyannis is Nick Mitchell out of Western Illinois. He'll be playing left field tonight for the Blue and Orange. Last known as the Hyannis Mets, now the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A ground ball to short. The new guy, Justin Rubin, in his first start, throws it over for the out.
Justin Rubin is looking to bring a little bit of everything to this Orleans Firebirds team. I know you caught up with him on the Scorching Start, Dylan. But what he's been known for over these last 2 seasons with Virginia, transferring to Pepperdine next season, is the defense. I know that's a routine ground ball, but he makes highlight reel plays in the infield.
Told us that he really looks up to Brandon Crawford, another former Firebird. Another ball in play. Penny grabs it on the line. Throw over. Big stretch by Olmsted, and he kept the foot on the bag. Elijah Hainline retired on one pitch. Jacobs doing what he does best. Strikes early in the count.
Dylan Jacobs is continuing to translate exactly what worked for him in that last start against Katuitt into tonight's game with just getting weak contact so often.
Cam Smith is the 3-hitter for the Harbor Hawks. Strike one fired by Jacobs. His 4th pitch, already 2 outs recorded on 2 ground balls. And another strike on a swing and a miss by Smith. From third to first, Penny, Rubin. At second is Oyama. At first is Olmsted. Left to right, Andy Blake, Eddie King, and Fenwick Trimble. Behind the plate is Henry Hunter. A green Stetson, a green UAB, the battery for the Firebirds tonight. The 0-2 fouled right at home plate.
Interested to see how long the leash is for Dylan Jacobs tonight. Pitched 5 innings in the loss to Katuitt. Pitched well, under 50 pitches total, but was pulled after that. Interested to see if, kind of similar to last night with Jake Peppers, the leash is a little longer with Jacobs.
And for a 1-2-3, Smith lines one foul down the third base line. Only had 45 pitchers in that start, and like you said, under 50. And he said personally he had more left in the tank. The Firebirds ended up losing that game after a bullpen implosion. A mix of Cam Leiter and Nate Ward give a grand slam for Katuitt. Another ground ball, another one to Rubin. Makes the throw over. 1-2-3 inning for Dylan Jacobs to start it off. All 3 ground outs to the left side of the infield. We'll go to the bottom of the first on the Birds Broadcast Network, but not before we go over who are the starting 9 for the Firebirds in the lineup. Ian, take it away.
It starts with the league leader in batting average from UC Irvine, Joe Oyama, who's playing at second. Johnny Olmstead, the hero of last night's game with the walk-off against Wareham, bat second, playing at first. Jack Penny from Notre Dame, batting third and playing at third base. Andy Blake hitting cleanup after his first home run of the season last night. And for the second night in a row, the infielder playing in the outfield over and left. Batting fifth is Matt Hallback from UC San Diego. He's DHing. Batting sixth, Fenwick Trimble in right field from James Madison. Batting seventh, Eddie King Jr., the center fielder from Louisville. Batting eighth, the catcher, you already mentioned him, Henry Hunter from Alabama Birmingham. And rounding out the order, the new kid on the block making his first start with the Firebirds, Justin Rubin, the shortstop, transferring to Pepperdine next year.
He and those 9 will face Mason Nichols out of Ole Miss. His 4th appearance for the Harbor Hawks. Hasn't pitched in over 2 weeks. Last time out was June 19th against Falmouth in a 3-2 win. He started that game with 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Small sample size, only 6 innings so far on the Cape for Nichols, his second start this summer.
Nichols is a really talented player, rejoining the Harbor Hawks after being cut from the USA Baseball training camp team. And, you know, obviously you never want to be cut from any team, but that's not an easy team to make. Nearly 60 guys invited every summer from the collegiate ranks who aren't draft eligible to carry North Carolina to play on the USA Baseball collegiate training camp squad. Nichols didn't make the cut, but now he's got the opportunity to prove maybe why he should have been here with Hyannis. Big frame, and he goes to a big school, the Mississippi's native, balling out with Ole Miss over the last couple of years.
He's a rebel out there on the mound, matching with the red cleats. He will face Oyama, Olmstead, and Penny after a just thrilling 7-6 walk-off victory for the Firebirds last night, and Joe Oyama had a big part of it.
Well, he had a big part of it for 2 reasons, right? Orleans led 5-3 in the 7th inning, and with the bases loaded, a pop-up came in his direction towards second base, which he lost in the lights. Very similar to the situation that ended the Texas baseball season in the postseason of the NCAA tournament, which was a heartbreaker. And it looked like it was going to be a heartbreaker for Orleans as they trailed 6-5. But then Joe Oyama had a sac fly, tied it up at 6. And if you watched last night, you know the rest with the Johnny Olmstead walk-off.
That's what really was so big from last night's victory from the Firebirds. Such a almost confusing and shocking play, which as the ball dropped, 3 runs came across for the Gateman. First pitch from Nichols is outside for a ball to Oyama. 3 hits last night. But they didn't let it faze them, Ian. They were down 1, and in the bottom half of the inning, they came back and tied the game.
They did, and it's because guys were just fearless in the box and starting to feel a little more comfortable in their own skin and feeling comfortable with failure, right? That was something we talked with hitting coach Max Fesky with before the game. Guys who were in slumps to start the year, who had gone through a lot of at-bats but didn't go their way, like a Johnny Olmstead, figuring out what they need to do to succeed.
Now 3-0 to Oyama. Nichols has had an interesting college career. 2022, his year was outstanding. 31 2/3 innings, 2.84 ERA, and the numbers were great. 41 strikeouts in those 31 innings. In 2023, kind of took a step back. The 3-0 is a strike at the top of the zone. A 5.45 ERA in 38 innings.
And this could be a bit of a bullpen day for manager Eric Beatty's crew. He's typically a short reliever, gives you 1 to 3 innings per appearance. And after that great first year with Ole Miss, was ranked one of the better relievers in the country after that slump.
A walk to Oyama to lead off the bottom of the first. He'll reach first. Olmsted is the batter. A walk-off last night, a single up the middle that came off the bat at 103 miles per hour. In and out of the glove of Dorian Gonzalez, the second baseman for the Gatemen, and the veteran, Olmsted. A rising fifth year to USC, draft eligible as well. Check over on Oyama. Was the hero last night. He came through when it mattered most.
Olmsted, not only the hero last night, but over the last week, 10 for 21 from the plate with 6 runs batted in. Especially in these last 3 games, he's been unstoppable. Can't blow a pitch by him.
First pitch to the right. He is popped up in the infield. The shortstop, Hainline, is back onto the outfield grass and makes the catch. Out number 1 for the Firebirds here in the bottom of the first brings up Jack Penny.
Penny, somebody else who has found his stride here on the Cape over the past week. 7 of 23 in the last 6 games with a triple and 2 runs batted in. This offense overall really trying to find its footing over the last week with 5 different guys, including Penny, hitting over 300.
Starting to find their footing after 12 hits last night. Left to right in the outfield defensively for Hyannis is Mitchell, Taylor, and Earhart. Third to first is Smith, Hainline, Snow, and Kelly. Doing the catching is Parker for Nichols. Hyannis, who's really been struggling with the bat. Their pitching has held their season together, which is a 10-8-1 year. Penny, ground ball to first, up with it, and throwing to second for 1. On the first, the throw is high. Penny beats it. Kelly to Hainline, look to get it back to Nichols, who is covering the bag from the mound. Fielder's choice, Oyama forced out at second. Brings up Andy Blake. Kind of a similar situation to last night's first inning, Ian.
Yes, it is. Andy Blake and the Firebirds did that damage in the first inning against Wareham with 2 outs. 2 quick outs were recorded, and then all of a sudden, a walk from Penny and a 2-run shot to left for Andy Blake, who not only hit a home run last night, but in left field, robbed a home run. Did a little bit of everything.
Guy who's taken the outfield position with stride. Started at shortstop, was on the list for some of the best shortstops in college ball, top 25 this season. Did not play left field in high school, did not play outfield at all in college, nor at the high school level, and is now in his 3rd game playing the outfield for the Firebirds. First pitch to him is low from Nichols. Blake again, 3 hits last night, 3 RBIs, 2 of them coming off that home run.
2 of them coming off that long shot, his first of the summer. It's hard to make that transition. At short, there's so much action. You got to be on top of your game every moment. You never know when the ball's going to be hit your way. In the outfield, it's a different story. I mean, Andy was telling us he was trying to find ways to stay engaged. Guys from the Orleans bullpen were talking to him out there in left field. It's easy to get distracted and to not be laser focused, but you wouldn't be able to tell because he looked like a gold glover out there.
We always say, if you have the bat, you'll stay in the lineup. 2-0 is a strike, and Andy Blake not only has the bat, he has a little bit more in him after his first home run last night, but in this past 2 weeks, he's really taken a step in the right direction.
Oh, over this last week, I know Sammy would like this one. She's called him the RBI master. I think he's just the king of contact right now. He is timing it up perfectly.
2-1, times this one up pretty good, but Earhart is right there and right to make the catch. Line drive right at the right fielder for the out. Firebirds leave 1 in the bottom of the first. We'll go to the second on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over
Austin Kelly, the cleanup hitter for Hyannis, is fouled back. A 1-2-3 first inning for Dylan Jacobs, who takes the mound for his 2nd inning of work. The lefty out of Lipscomb with the orange batting gloves and is supporting the Harbor Hawks all the way through.
Yeah, these colors obviously very reminiscent of the New York Mets because that's what the same nickname Hyannis had for a large chunk of its franchise history. Not the only team in the Cape to don the name of a team that plays in the major leagues as well.
1-1 is lined in the left, in for a base hit. It drops down in front of Eddie King, a leadoff single in the second for the Harbor Hawks, I should say. As we reach the second inning, first base runner for Hyannis as well.
That's how you get to Dylan Jacobs, because he's just mowing through the order right now. Goes 1, 2, 3. A lot of positive momentum heading into this pitching performance for him. You know, he didn't blast that ball, but he takes it the opposite way and finds a great gap between left and center.
Will Taylor coming up, squares around a bunt and gets it down right back in front of the mound. Hunter throws it to first, not in time. Good speed from Will Taylor, a two-sport athlete, football and baseball over at Clemson, and he shows it off right there.
Well, it's obvious that he's a wide receiver at the collegiate level, right? Used to play a little quarterback in high school too, but his talent so transcendent, his speed so good that Dabo Sweeney and company had to move him over to the wideout spot. And that's a good throw from Henry Hunter. He was amped up even after he was called safe because he knew he had a great throw. He did everything he possibly could do and still couldn't throw him out.
Zach Earhart, the hitter. Big opportunity for Hyannis here in the top of the second. First and second, first pitch strike from Jacobs. Kelly with a single in the left center and a bunt single by Earhart. Reminiscent of kind of how the Firebirds have gotten their offense going over the past week or so.
Yeah, and that's a guy in Kelly, or Taylor, I should say, who really could use that hit.
Earhart gets a bunt down, rolling towards the foul territory and into it. Picked up by Penny. That'll be strike two. Probably take the bunt out of the equation now for Hyannis.
You know, Taylor's somebody who headed into tonight only 7 for 41 from the plate in 13 games. But, again, we were talking to hitting coach Max Fesky before the game. What did Johnny Olmstead need to do to just gain some confidence? Lay down a couple bunts, reach with a couple bunt singles. That could be the start of a little streak for Will Taylor, and that's how you engineer offense. That's how you manufacture runs for an offense that's been up and down like Hyannis's.
Earhart, another guy who's struggling, 3 for 30 to start his summer. With only one RBI, down 0-2 in the count. Jacobs fires low. First big opportunity for Hyannis to get on the board. A big 7-6 win against Harwich last night. A top team in the East, sitting second right now behind YD. Another East Division matchup for them today in these Firebirds. 1-2 just outside.
Yeah, Earhart's somebody at the collegiate level with Oklahoma State who doesn't necessarily hit too well for average there either. Hit just under 240 this year, but what he provides is great speed. Led the Cowboys with 11 stolen bags, so don't let him get on.
On second is Kelly, on first is Taylor. The 2-2 just low. Good take from Earhart. An all-speed pitch that started in the zone and just escaped at the last moment. Runs the count full. Big chance for Hyannis. Some jostling over at second. Jacobs gives it a look. Full count pitch. Lifted into left. Back goes Blake. Back toward the wall. At the wall. He makes the catch. Andy Blake with a big first out. Dylan Jacobs takes a huge deep breath as that one looked destined to go over the wall. And Andy Blake caught it right before it.
Andy Blake continues to be the guy who sees the most action in the outfield whenever he's out there and continues to look really great. And I don't know if Duke is watching these games or if they've got scouts out here. I know they brought him in to be a shortstop, maybe occasionally play some third. Andy Blake can play in the outfield. I don't know if that's where he wants to be, but he can certainly do it. Great catch there on a well-hit ball from Earhart.
Alex Lane is the next batter. Checks his swing. Didn't go around on the first pitch from Jacobs. A big first out after 2 back-to-back singles. Austin Kelly into left center, and then Will Taylor with the bunt. That got him to first. Henry Hunter just a bit late to that one. Lane coming in, hitting 205 for this Hyannis team in desperate need of runs.
Well, Lane knows how to deliver them. I couldn't deliver the words out of my mouth there. Led Northeastern in RBIs this past season with 57, usually batting 3 to 4 in the Huskies lineup. This is why you have him, because with runners on the base paths, he knows how to contribute and get it done.
1-1 fastball right down the middle for a strike. The tall righty, one of the few Harbor Hawks still on this roster from back on opening night when these two teams last faced. A big win for the Firebirds, 4-1 the final to start off the year. Now looking to get back to 500. 1-2, fouled right at the plate off of Lane's waist.
And Lane played in that game, as you mentioned. Went 1 for 4 from the plate. His lone hit, a double. 1 of 3 on the year for the Harbor Hawks, and scored the only run of that game.
Hyannis had some defensive miscues in the 9th inning that allowed an Orleans lead to go from 2-1 to 4-1. Strike 3, swinging. Jacobs with a big strikeout. And now he's 1 out away from getting out of a first and second, nobody out jam here in the second.
Jacobs looking calm, cool, and composed. And he's still throwing strikes, even after allowing 2 guys to reach, both on hits. 18 of his 23 pitches inside the zone. Still working with efficiency despite some traffic.
First pitch to Eric Snow is a ball. Jacobs, who has had a few tough matchups in terms of opposing starting pitching. Pitched in the Chatham game against Brody Brecht and Tugboat Wilkinson. And then last time out against Katuitt, pitched against Cam Hill, who was pitching incredibly, had 12 perfect innings before yesterday and was really good against the Firebirds. He's had to throw up zeros, and he has.
That's why win-loss doesn't mean a whole lot for a pitcher, right? You look at Jacobs 0-1. Who cares about the decision? Look at the ERA, under 2 through just under 14 innings pitched headed into tonight. It's only gotten better. And he doesn't walk a lot of guys. He doesn't make mistakes. Only 4 walks, and he hasn't added to that total yet tonight.
Runner off second, Kelly taking a big lead. Swing and a miss on the high fastball from Jacobs. Snow, an all AAC first team man out of USF against another Florida guy, Dylan Jacobs out of Ocala. 1-2 the count. Jacobs looking to get out of a big jam in the second. The pitch is rocked to left. Back goes Blake. This one's going to be foul.
Still a scoreless game here in the top of the second. Trying to keep it that way at 0-0 with 2 runners on, 2 out. And Jacobs, once again, getting ahead in a count, 1-2.
It all started but the deep fly out. Zach Earhart, Andy Blake with a great catch. Eric Snow, the batter, against Jacobs. He looks at his card, gets the scouting report, now gets the sign from Henry Hunter. Check second, the 1-2 pitch doesn't get the top of the zone. Jacobs wanted it bad. Only all-speed pitch.
It's a good at-bat for Snow. Obviously in a big spot. Orleans in wins in 4 of its last 8 games. When they've won, they've got ahead early.
See if they can keep it scoreless here. Top 2, 2 outs, 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Jacobs pumped up as he comes off the mound. First and second, nobody out, no problem. Fly out, strikeout for Jacobs to get out of the top of the second. We'll go bottom 2 on the Birds Broadcast Network. Hyannis with a big opportunity in the top of the second. Now it's time for the Firebirds to come to bat for their second time tonight. Matt Hallback, Fenwick Trimble, and Eddie King Jr. Ian, we talked about the pop-up that no one could see yesterday in the top of the 7th that gave the Gatemen the lead. But the man that kind of started the rally to tie the game was Matt Hallback with a great walk in that bottom of the 7th.
Matt Hallback has been in a league where it's very tough to reach base consistently against the best pitching in the country in any summer ball league. He's been an on-base machine. He's got a hit in 6 of his 7 games this season, including each of the last 5. Reached twice last night with a single, but also that critical walk, as you mentioned, came home on a sac fly from Joe Oyama, his summer ball teammate a year ago with the Wenatchee Apple Sox of a West Coast League. But over a .410 on-base percentage for Matt Hallback so far through 24 at-bats. I know he was hit by pitch 3 times. I think actually it might be 4 times now. He was plunked last night too, 3 times in his debut. That's the ones that stuck out. He has been really a perfect fit in the middle of his lineup.
So good at going to the opposite field, making good contact, takes a ball low. Was telling me how kind of a sour end to a great season at UCSD in the Big West. We talked about it before, the alignment, them going D1. They were D2 a few years back, went D1, and there's a 5-year period of them where they can't even make the playoffs no matter if they went undefeated. They could have gone 36-0, and they couldn't make it just because of the NCAA rules. They knew when their last game of the season was, and they had a great season either way if they made it or not.
You know, despite the result, and I know it's a tough pill to swallow, you still got to look back at such a great year. I mean, not only for him individually, he was all Big West first team, but you see San Diego, as he swings and misses, they were picked to finish 8th out of 11 teams in the conference. So they were not expected to go on this big run and give themselves a chance to qualify for the NCAA tournament. So although it's actually impossible for them to do it, that's huge for the program. And mad respect to Hallback sticking with that team.
2-2, line drive into right field past the diving glove of Snow. A leadoff single for Hallback here in the 2nd.
And what does he do? Exactly like you mentioned before his at-bat. Going the opposite way, the righty bat, dropping it in a right field. And it's on a line, too. A little dive from Eric Snow at second, but there's nothing you can do to stop a Matt Hallback line drive. Just continues to get it done. Not flashy, but just super consistent.
First hit for the Firebirds tonight. Pitch is way high to Trimble. Fenwick starting for his first game in a day. Last time was at Bourne in a 6-5 loss to the Firebirds. Made an appearance last night in right field. Came in as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning. Nichols with a walk to Oyama to start the game, and now a bunt by Trimble right back to Nichols. He fields it. He fires to first a little bit low and scooped up by Kelly for the out. Trimble does his job and moves Hallback to second.
There's probably no team in the Cape that bunts more than the Birds, I got to think. And I also got to think there's no team in the Cape that bunts as well. You saw it on display last night. There's no defense for a good bunt. Obviously, a sack bunt there from Trimble. This is why you do it, to put guys in scoring position.
And the first time the Firebirds have gotten a man to second tonight. Eddie King, the batter. King was the winning run in last night's 7-6 win. His speed playing a big part in that. Reached on an error by Dorian Gonzalez, the second baseman. Advanced on 2 wild pitches and then scored on the single by Johnny Olmstead.
King, he scored a team-high 11 runs on the year in just 34 at-bats. His first came in the season opener against Hyannis, forcing an error from right field out of the Harbor Hawks because of his unbelievable speed. And he earned player of the game from Orleans as a result for his great base running off the bench.
0-1 is fouled off. The first player of the game, of course, for the year. It's funny, and we remember that game so well. Some of the games, maybe Game 7 or Game 9 on the year, we don't remember as well, but the first game, first time on the Cape, it was even raining an hour before the game.
There's been a lot of rain this year, but tonight, not the case. Thank goodness.
A beautiful night. 0-2 into right. Over goes the right fielder Earhart. He'll make the catch and force Hall back to second. So with 2 outs and the man on second, Henry Hunter is the batter, the catcher for the Firebirds tonight.
Henry Hunter is somebody who's looking to change his fortunes from the plate. Started the season strong. 3 for his first 9, 0 for his last 15. Somebody who's super positive, great personality, one of the most likable guys on this squad, has a good mindset. His time's going to come. And as one of the 2 catchers on this team, he's going to get another opportunity here tonight to prove himself.
Would be a big spot. This one spiked into the dirt. Hallback moves on to third. A curveball that gets away from Nichols allows Hallback to reach third base. He's 90 feet away. Henry Hunter, a big spot for him to come through is right now.
Aaron Parker got a piece of it, but that pitch just spiked too violently in the dirt. Hallback, 90 feet away, like you said.
Snow and Hainline, the second and shortstop on the right side of the infield. A little bit of a shift against Hunter. Cam Smith, the third baseman, stays on the left side, however, about 15 feet from the base. 2-0 the count to Hunter. Fouls off a pitch left side out of play. Some trouble for the Firebirds in the top of the second. Now some trouble for the Harbor Hawks. Hallback gets a big lead off third. 2-1, swing and a miss from Hunter on the fastball.
The big thing for Hunter this summer has been extending at bats, fighting through negative counts, and avoiding striking out. 14 Ks and 24 ABs. But he has walked in each of the last 2 games. 2-2, it's going to be tough here.
The 2-2 is smacked in right. Back it goes to the fence. At the wall, it's gone! A 2-run home run for Henry Hunter. His first homer on the year. Puts the Birds up 2-0 in the second.
Who needs to walk when you can trot around the bases? It's the second night in a row that Orleans has gotten on the board first via a 2-run home run. Obviously, that lead kind of vanquished last night, but that's exactly how you set the tone. What a much-needed extra base hit for Henry Hunter. His first of his summer, and it goes the distance.
First homer for Henry Hunter, and that must be so much pressure off his shoulders. It has not been the start he's wanted this summer in Orleans, but he smacks a fastball into the Firebirds bullpen in right center field to put the Firebirds up 2-0. Here comes the new guy, Justin Rubin. His first start in Orleans, made his first appearance in last night's game.
He did, and he came up clutch, not only for his good defense, but also a big hit in the later stages of that game coming off the bench.
Came off the bench in the 7th. It was first and second, and it wasn't a hard hit ball at all. It was right back to the mound, but Tyler Dean, the pitcher for Wareham, fell, and nobody got it. He reached base. Rubin, ground ball. It'll be off his foot, so a foul ball is the call. And then he had a big walk in that 9th inning as well, and ball 4 was in the dirt. It allowed Eddie King to move to third.
Nothing like earning the trust of your teammates and the entirety of your coaching staff by just providing quality at bats, especially off the bench too. Any baseball player you talk to, I mean, obviously it's tough to hit the baseball, it's tough to get on base. It's even tougher when you've had a few weeks off and you're coming off the bench in a game, especially in a game so tight in late stages.
The 2-2 looped into left field for a single. Rubin gets his second hit as a Firebird and gets on base with 2 outs in the second.
It wasn't a great season for Justin Rubin from the plate during his sophomore year at Virginia, but you wouldn't be able to tell from what he's done over the last 24 hours here in Orleans. 3 times up, 3 times on base, 2 hits. Does not seem like a guy who went 11 of 58 from the plate with UVA, but now he's transferring to Pepperdine, turning a new page in his baseball journey, and he's looking really good right now for Orleans.
Oyama, the lefty, as they turn the lineup over, lays down a bunt down the third base line, but it rolls foul. Third baseman Smith playing back on the dirt. It's funny because we go through playing different teams in the league, and when you see Oyama the second or third time, you get a better scouting report on what he brings to the table.
You do, but at the same time, teams still haven't figured him out, right? He still leads the league, not only in batting average, but also in OPS.
You wouldn't think that if you saw him.
No, and I'm sure he wouldn't blame you. 5'7", 170, but still, as hitting coach Max Fesky said pregame to us, every time he comes up to the plate, he's just a step away from getting on base. And he hits for power, too.
Ruben off first. Oyama takes a ball low. A gorgeous night at Eldredge. The hill is packed once again. And I don't know if we can beat last night's attendance. It seemed like every square inch of this place was packed with fans.
We can certainly challenge the Orleans faithful to come out and support the team, but at the same time, then we'd be out of a job.
Ruben takes off. Oyama skies is in the infield. Coming in is the center fielder Taylor. On the grass, he makes the catch. Not before a two-run homer by Henry Hunter to put the Firebirds up 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Let's go to the third.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. With the MLB draft just right around the corner, this is the time of the year where teams all over the Cape are saying hello to some people and goodbye to others. Now, Virginia's shortstop Justin Rubin made his debut last night, coming into the 7th inning, recording a hit, and tonight he's making his starting debut in the shortstop position and has already recorded a hit in the 2nd inning. And I talked to him today, and he said, hey, it was pretty cool to make his debut on a night where they had a walk-off victory. And I responded with, well, maybe you're that good luck charm Orleans has needed. We'll see if that stays true tonight and the rest of the season. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. I'm sure Kelly Nicholson and the rest of the staff would love it if Justin Rubin was that good luck charm and brought the Firebirds even some more victories in this part of the season. That is so odd. Players coming in and out, some going for the draft, some for other reasons, limits, and whatever they may be. Dylan Jacobs is back out for the 3rd inning of work. First pitch, chopper to third. Penny throwing across and getting the out of Aaron Parker. Ian, so important for Jacobs, who now has recorded 4 straight outs without anybody reaching. You get the 2 runs in the bottom of the second. Now can he put up a 0 in the top of the 3rd?
This looks so effortless for him. And it would be so huge to come out in this 3rd inning and continue to throw strikes like he has. 30 pitches, 23 strikes, that's unreal. The biggest issues for him right now are, 1, does my great hair look good? And 2, he just waved the bug out of his face. Get away from me. But everything else, this just looks easy for Dylan Jacobs. So I wouldn't be surprised if he returned to Stetson next year and they trusted him to be a meaningful starter for them because he's earning his stripes here on the Cape.
1-0 the count to the lefty leadoff man. Back goes King, still going back at the wall. He jumps, he can't get it, and it bounces over the wall. A ground rule double for Nick Mitchell. He really put a charge into that one, a deep center field. And he'll have to stop at second, a ground rule double for the leadoff man from Hyannis.
Not an easy thing to do. There's a ton of room to hit the ball out here in Eldredge. You already mentioned the field dimensions. Some of, if not the most unique in all of the league. But Eddie King also one of the fastest players in the league. And he had a good jump on it. Leaped for it, too. Couldn't secure it, and unfortunately it bounces over the wall.
Elijah Hainline, he is the second batter for Hyannis out of Washington State. So a double for Mitchell, first extra base hit for Hyannis tonight, 3rd overall. He stands at second with 1 out. Birds looking to hold on to a 2-0 lead. Hainline takes a strike on the inside corner. Jacobs' numbers are unreal. Coming in 13-2 13 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.98 ERA. 9 strikeouts. He's not going to blow it past you, but he'll make you put it into the ground. 1-1 is a little bit high. Checking his swing was Hainline.
It's been an interesting journey for Jacobs. He was a top 100 right-handed pitcher in the country coming out of Ocala, Florida a couple years ago. Went to a big-time program in Florida State. Didn't get a ton of playing time. Transfers to Stetson. Comes out of a bullpen half the time. But you're seeing this raw talent. Great off-speed offerings. A high-velocity fastball. Everything coming together.
Another fastball, this one high. Stetson, of course, known for Jacob deGrom. The big righty now pitching for the Rangers. Had to, sadly, go under the knife. Tommy John for deGrom, but you can't deny his greatness when he's on the field. Jacobs looking to keep the legacy going over at Stetson in DeLand, Florida. Mitchell takes a big step off second. The 3-1 is inside, a walk. First one of the night for Jacobs, allows the 2-hitter Hainline to reach.
Well, he's certainly keeping the legacy alive with the hair, right? Jacob deGrom, I know it's high and tight now, but back in the day used to have luscious locks. Now you've got to buckle down if you're Jacobs. You're continuing to throw strikes, but the ball's starting to creep up a little bit. 37 pitches, 12 balls, 25 strikes. That's still a great ratio. Henry Hunter just trying to settle him down. He got that first out of the inning easily against Aaron Parker. That makes things a little bit better here. The king of weak contact. A lot of balls have already been sent towards the left side of the infield. How do you get a double play ball out of a really good batter and a former Florida State teammate in Cam Smith?
They know each other a little bit. First pitch to Smith is smacked into left. Back goes Blake. This one's a no-doubter. A 3-run homer for Hyannis on the first pitch of the at-bat for Cam Smith. Quickly, 3-2 Hyannis in the top of the third.
Second home run in the last week for Cam Smith. Former Seminole against current Seminole. He's been the hottest bat in this lineup. A lineup that, like you mentioned, throughout the game has struggled a little bit as of late. Only hitting .231 as a group, headed into tonight over the last week. But Smith has been holding this offense together. He was 9 for his last 24 in his 10th hit in the last 8 days. A no-doubter. Andy Blake, who's so great in left, there's no play he could make there.
Dylan Jacobs, who's been so good for these Firebirds, has never given up 3 runs in an appearance. First pitch swinging is the lefty Kelly. Underrated is King for the second out of the inning. First home run allowed as well by Jacobs this year.
Excited to see what Cam Smith does throughout the rest of his season on the Cape. Good to know he's not in the East Division, right? Because as an all-ACC freshman team selection, big, powerful, 6'3" infielder. This is just exactly what he does. 12 home runs as a freshman in the ACC. It's only going to go up.
The first pitch to Taylor is outside. He singled in the second. Big chance for Hyannis in that second. They couldn't get the job done, but with 2 runners on in the third, they do. Cam Smith puts one over the left field wall to give them a 3-2 lead. Cam Smith was the 3-hitter for Hyannis on opening night. 1-1, a swing and a miss. He struck out 3 times and flew out in the 8th against Sean Matson, a 4-1 win. For the Firebirds, Smith, Lane, and Snow. The 3 Hawks that continue on. Another pitch drilled to left. Back goes Blake to the wall. He leaps, it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Harbor Hawks is off the bat of Will Taylor.
One issue for this pitching staff all season for Orleans. You and I have talked about it from time to time. While the starting pitching has been fantastic, the one negative is the slugging percentage against. New Orleans pitchers have given up a lot of hard-hit baseballs this season. Kind of calmed down over the last week, but 2 long bombs in the matter of moments. And just like that 2-run lead that was oh so important to protect. Now it's a 2-run deficit.
2 homers in the inning for the Harbor Hawks. Still 2 outs in the third. It's Zach Earhart. Flew out to left. That one almost got out. And back in the second, Andy Blake caught it at the warning track. A tough day at the office for Jacobs, who now has to continue to work and grind for a team that hasn't been off in a couple days and still has today, tomorrow, and Wednesday before an off day. A home run by Henry Hunter in the second. 2 homers by Hyannis here in the top of the third.
It's funny because Jacobs is still throwing strikes. Like, that's not the issue. The problem is maybe a few too many good pitches to hit for the heart of a Hyannis order that's needed to wake up and is using tonight ahead of 4th of July to provide some fireworks, sending it deep to left twice.
2-2 is low. Ian, it just feels like the off-speed isn't there for Jacobs when he's on, and when we've seen him being on. He's getting the swing and miss low and in the dirt on 2 strike counts. Tonight, that's not the case.
It's been swing and miss all summer long for Jacobs, and it's been very difficult to track down that good pitch to hit.
3-2 is low. A walk. 5 of the last 6 batters have reached for Hyannis.
Just a really difficult inning for Dylan Jacobs. He's kicking around the dirt on the mound, just trying to stay composed. It's tough. You're only an out away. That's the mindset you've got to have. Because, again, another hard-hitting guy comes to the plate in Alex Lane. There's a guy on base. You cannot afford to give up an extra base hit here. Easy chance to score.
Lane, a guy who has the power to do so. He struck out last time up in the second. Jacobs didn't give up any home runs in his first 13 and 2/3 innings. Now in the third, he's given up 2. Lane swings through the fastball. Now 1-1. Some arms getting loose in the bullpen. Looks like Jonathan Gonzalez, the lefty out of Stetson, the teammate of Jacobs. The 1-1 is low. His pitch count climbing, 53 about to be delivered.
53 pitches tonight. In his last start in 5 full innings, he had 46 pitches. That's just baseball. Some days you're pitching out of your mind. The other days, it's a struggle.
Off first, the runner is going. Jacobs didn't see him. Hunter has no chance. To second is Earhart on the stolen base. Left early and saw it the whole way. Step off was being screamed at Jacobs, but he was focused on the pitch, which was a strike and evens the count at 2-2. Hyannis with another runner in scoring position.
11 stolen bags in the spring with Oklahoma State. Not a surprise.
The 2-2 is low. That's the pitch that's not working. The 2-2 changeup that he's not getting the swing and miss on right now.
That's been his put-away pitch often this summer, whether it's via the strikeout or getting weak contact and forcing a ground out. And we saw it a little bit with the bullpen last night for Orleans when you don't have your full arsenal.
3-2 is fouled back.
You're put in the blind. You're forced to make your other pitches perfect. No margin for error. Composed to when you have all 3 of your pitches, 3 or 4, how many you may have, and you feel a little more comfortable. You feel like you have options in the back of your pocket. For Jacobs now, he's just surviving out there.
A full count, looking to get out of the third. He cannot. A walk to Lane, who checks his swing on a pitch high and inside. Back-to-back walks, third of the inning. And a third inning that will bring up the 9th batter, Eric Snow, for the Harbor Hawks in this inning.
And for one of the very few times this season, pitching coach Jim Lawler makes his way out to the mound. Usually, when there's a pitching change for Orleans, it just comes via Kelly Nicholson, who was the pitching coach of his team for 4 seasons from 2001 to 2004. But when Jim Lawler goes out there, he means business. He's simple in his approach. And with his words, he's usually pretty truthful, and his message usually connects. Hopefully it does for Jacobs here to get out of a jam.
So Lawler heads back to the dugout. Runners on first and second for Hyannis. In the top of the third, they've scored 4. They're looking for more. On second is Earhart. On first is Lane. Both walked. Eric Snow, the batter, struck out in the second. The first pitch is chopped to third. Penny jumps for it, throws it over to first for the out. Not before Hyannis with 2 home runs. One, a 3-run shot by Cam Smith. The next, a solo shot from Will Taylor. Takes a 4-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the third.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, 4 runs in the top of the third for the Harbor Hawks, taking a 4-2 lead over the Firebirds, who put up 2 of their own in the bottom of the second. They will bring 2, 3, 4 in their lineup to the plate in the bottom of the third.
Orleans needs to clap back. Just last night, it faced a deficit late in the ball game against another West Division foe in Wareham, albeit it was only a 1-run deficit. Orleans scored the final 2 runs of the game and responded with an emphatic win. But now you need a different kind of response. Against a starting pitcher in Mason Nichols compared to the back end of Wareham's bullpen last night and very early in this game. Luckily, you've got arguably the 3 hottest bats in this lineup, Johnny Olmstead, Jack Penny, and Andy Blake, due up this inning. It's exactly what the doctor ordered, but Nichols has been good outside of that 1 mistake 2-run home run for Henry Hunter last inning.
Matt Hallback scored on that home run. Rubin with a single right after it. Firebirds couldn't add on. Now they're down 2. Johnny Olmstead swinging first pitch, popped up behind the plate. Tracking it is Parker right near the Orleans dugout. He makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out in the third.
And that does wonders for his pitch count, which now sits at 35 through 2 1/3. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Dylan Jacobs already with over 50 pitches for Orleans after allowing 4 runs to come across the board at the top of the inning. You got to think his day is done, and it might be a bullpen call for Orleans.
Jack Penny, the lefty hitter, takes a strike. Grounded into a fielder's choice back in the first. Penny, the lefty, really got onto a hot streak last week for the Firebirds, including a game where it went 3 for 3. The other 2 at-bats were walks. Out of Notre Dame, plays the infield and has played defensively very well for this team. The 1-1 is low. And it feels like the Firebirds need one of their now patented, after the first 2 weeks of the season, long at-bats that usually end in a walk.
Well, Jack Penny put together a really good at-bat last night early on in the game.
2-1 is high.
8 to 9 pitches, duking it out, worked a walk in the bottom of the first inning against Wareham. Andy Blake came up right after him at a 2-run home run over the left field wall. He's in the on-deck circle.
3-1 is a strike on the inside and low corner to the lefty. Nichols now looking to throw up a shutdown inning of his own.
And although his pitch count is low, a reliever at Ole Miss, how long will Nichols go tonight?
The full count pitch is high. There's the walk. Penny reaches, and Andy Blake is going to come to the plate.
No movement from the Hyannis dugout. even with Andy Blake arriving to the plate. Another well-hit ball, and his first time up went the opposite way, lined it out to right. That's a lot of what Andy Blake was doing early on in the season with his 1-for-12 start. He's gotten a little bit lucky as of late, in a good way, with positive regression in that stat.
Blake takes the first pitch off speed for a strike. Penny's off first. Blake, the hitter, a home run last night. Hard contact in his first at-bat tonight, but right at the right fielder. A chopper in the hole, into left field. A base hit for Andy Blake. Sets up the Firebirds with runners on first and second. One out for Matt Hallback.
It's a hit to left field. It's not a home run, but Orleans is going to take it. Just a well-hit baseball. Hand line ranging towards his right. Maybe got a piece of it with the glove. Doesn't matter. But now Matt Hallback, can he go the other way? Potentially drive in a run here with Jack Penny on second.
Hallback, the righty out of UCSD. Singled last time up to right. Against Nichols, a big chance for the Firebirds to make a dent in this 2-run lead. He's got hits in his last 5. Make that 6 after tonight. Penny with a big lead off second. Watched closely by Snow. The 0-1 is down and away. Not only has it been great to see Matt going the other way, but also his plate discipline has been really good.
It has been. I mean, you don't hit over 300 as just a sophomore at the collegiate level if you don't have solid plate discipline. Low strikeout numbers here on the Cape.
1-1, check to swing. It was a strike anyway. Low and outside with the off-speed pitch from Nichols.
Hallback headed into tonight with only 4 strikeouts in 24 at-bats. And he hasn't added to that total with a single his first time up.
2 runners on with 1 out for the righty. Takes the pitch high for a ball. No chase.
Give yourself an opportunity to potentially load the bases here. I know it's only 2-2 in the count, but good plate discipline Hallback has. Fenwick Trimble with great power on deck. Looking ahead a little bit.
Nichols looks at second now to the plate. Pitch is low. Man, what a take from Matt Hallback right there. A curveball that started almost right down the middle and takes it low. He's really been seeing the ball well. Now full count. Penny on second. Blake on first, 1 out. The pitch from Nichols is low. What an at-bat. Matt Hallback with a great walk loads the bases for Fenwick Trimble.
That's surprisingly just his second walk in 8 games. I know he's been hit by pitch 4 times. You can count that as a free bag too. That doesn't look as good as that at bat though. Just a couple off-speed offerings that miss low of the zone with a lot of break from Nichols, a reliever whose pitches fool the eyes of plenty batters at Ole Miss, but not the eyes of UCSD's Matt Hallback.
1 out for Fenwick Trimble. Chops it foul. Bases loaded. Down 2. Trimble's got 2 homers on the year. His last homer a few nights ago against Falmouth in a 4-3 loss.
Provided this team a spark late, trailing by 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Just got it over the left field wall. Sounded good off the bat. Went about 320 feet here from Eldredge.
Penny on third. On second, Blake. On first is Hallback. The 0-1, Trimble swings and misses through the high breaking ball.
Similar to the words that I echoed about Henry Hunter when he was up the bat. Fenwick Trimble trying to keep the strikeouts low. 18 Ks in 17 games and 60 at-bats.
No grand slams for the Firebirds this season just yet. The 0-2 is fouled away. On deck, Eddie King. A big chance for the Firebirds to put across at least 1 run. They had bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th inning last night against Wareham. They came up empty.
Chance to Quilla, the pitcher who got it done and worked out of that jam somehow.
To the 0-2 again from Nichols. Trimble down the line, but he was early. Pulls it foul.
There's that power from Fenwick Trimble. 13 home runs, 52 runs batted in during an excellent sophomore season with James Madison in the spring.
Looking to bring some power to Orleans. Do the 0-2 again. The pitch, strike three, swinging. Trimble goes fishing in the dirt. Nichols gets strikeout number 1 on the night for him. And up comes Eddie King with 2 outs.
Eddie King with an opportunity to have his most important, maybe most impactful at bat of his summer. Haven't seen an extra base hit from the rising junior from Louisville yet. He's had better at bats over the last week, though.
2 outs, bases loaded. King up the middle with a base hit. In comes Penny. Here comes Blake to tie it. He will. A 2 RBI single to make it 4-4 in the bottom of the third for Eddie King.
It's not an extra base hit, but it'll do, because it scores a couple runs to tie this thing at 4. Great swing up the middle through Eddie King. I said the at-bats were looking a little bit better, didn't I? That's a great moment for him. I think he really needed that.
And now a mound visit for Hyannis. Some throwing going on in their bullpen. We'll see how they're going to attack this jam. From 2-0 Orleans to 4-2 Hyannis, now 4-4 after a 2 RBI single for Eddie King. Matt Hallback stays at second. Nichols getting met on the mound. Parker the catcher as well there. See if it's the end of the line for him. Doesn't seem so.
No, just a simple mound visit. Trying to get a bit more out of Nichols tonight, but still a lot of trouble brewing. Not only can you lose the lead, but you might fall down in the score. Henry Hunter, 2-run home run, his last time up, and it was against Nichols.
He took a 2-2 fastball to the Firebirds bullpen. Now 2 men on. Hunter's going to lay down a bunt with 2 outs. It's to the left side. Nichols can't pick it up, and Hunter's going to reach. A risky bunt, but one that pays off for Henry Hunter, loading the bases once again. And here comes Justin Rubin.
Henry Hunter, who's 0 for 15 in his last 15 at-bats coming into tonight. 2 for 2. It only takes one big game to change your fortunes. One big swing earlier, and he pulls the bunt out of nowhere.
Justin Rubin, bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom 3 of a tie game. First pitch swing, pops it up into shallow right. Over goes Earhart. He has a track on it and makes the catch. But still, even though they leave the bases loaded, 2 runs for the Firebirds to tie the game on a 2 RBI single from Eddie King Jr. Let's go to the 4th. This game has 8 runs in it already. We're just going to keep going here on the Birds Broadcast Network. 4 runs in the top of the third for Hyannis. Orleans claps back with 2 of their own to tie the game at 4. Let's go top 4. Dylan Jacobs still on the mound. 9 hitters for the Harborhawks came to the plate in the third. The worst inning for sure for Dylan Jacobs this year, but he looks for a bounce back right now against 9-1-2 in the Hyannis order.
Jacobs still out here, facing the bottom of the order to start, as you said, and Parker. A little surprised. I mean, his pitch count isn't insane. It's in the mid-50s, but it was a tough inning for him.
First pitch to Parker, right back up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Oyama can't handle it. A single for Parker to start off the top of the fourth.
That's what Parker has done. A star at UC Santa Barbara. And for a catcher, he hits the ball really well. 321 average in the spring. OPS a little under 1,000. Another leadoff base runner.
Third time through for Hyannis. Last time up, Nick Mitchell. Ground rule double to the deepest part of the ballpark in left center. Check over on Parker. He isn't going anywhere. The catcher, although I shouldn't say that, Henry Hunter with a bunt back in the bottom of the third, using his speed.
Yes. 2 for 2 on the night.
A bunt single and a home run. 2 drastic different results. Mitchell swings and pops it up out of play. The Western Illinois man, 1 for 2 on the day. It's been an offensive firepower sort of day for both squads. 4 runs for either team.
It's very hard to find a shootout in the Cape Cod Baseball League in terms of these offensive numbers with the pitching being so good.
Mitchell to left center again, but not as deep. Eddie King ranges over, makes the catch for out number 1.
You know, sometimes I see scores where both teams have double-digit runs. How's that possible? I mean, we've never seen a game like that. We've seen games.
Wareham's had multiple.
I know. I mean, that's what happens when you've got one of the better offenses in the league and the pitching staff is still trying to find its groove in the middle of the year. But for Orleans, they've had a few games where they've been doing the blowing out, like YD and Brewster over the past couple weeks. They've also been blown out a couple times.
Chopper to third. It goes foul.
But we have not seen a game where both teams are just destroying each other in terms of an offensive onslaught.
No, we haven't. Firebirds have reached double digits twice this year. Once against Brewster, like Ian said, and once against Yarmouth Dennis, the leader in the East. Orleans sits at third right now, 4 points behind second in Harwich. Hainline, the righty and the 2-hitter, takes a ball low. And Ian, for Jacobs, how can he wipe away that third inning and start fresh here in the fourth?
It's difficult. The one thing I'd say is, you know, first pitch strikes is a cure for so many things. Got to limit the walks. And I think if you start at bats off, you set the tone. You know, if you don't have the off-speed offering, you don't have it, right? It's not an easy fix. Get ahead in the count. That'll make your life a lot easier.
He's ahead of this count against Hainline. 1 out, Parker off first. The 1-2 is down and away. Good block by Hunter to keep it near him, and Parker at first. Jacobs has allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and only has struck out 2, unlike what we've seen from the Stetson men in the first 3 starts here in Orleans.
4 walks in those 3 starts, and already 3 tonight, and not even 4 innings of work.
Uncommon, rare. The 2-2 pitch. Chopper to third again. It stays fair. Throw to first is in time. Jack Penny makes it look so smooth out there. Moving to second is Parker.
But who comes up to the plate? Cam Smith, who's been one of the better batters in the Cape League over the last week or so, and changed the tide of his game with a 3-run home run. And Dylan Jacobs might not have to face him a second time.
Here comes manager Kelly Nicholson. Dylan Jacobs, last time he saw Cam Smith, he saw a ball going over the left field fence. Manager Kelly Nicholson doesn't want to see that happen again. He'll call to the bullpen. The gate's open. We'll see who's coming in out of the pen when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network to face Cam Smith. We're back here on the Birds Broadcast Network. A new arm, a new face in a Firebirds uniform. It's Chase Hungate out of UVA. Comes into a big spot, runner on second. 2 outs, and Cam Smith coming to the plate for Hyannis.
Hungate spent his freshman season at VCU before transferring to Virginia for his sophomore campaign. It was an up-and-down year. Had just under a 5.8 ERA, 25 innings pitched, and then 16 innings. His most memorable 5 innings came against Cam Smith's team in Florida State. It was a career-high 5 innings pitched for the reliever. Wasn't expected to be that way. Starter Nick Parker got hurt in the first inning. Hungate came in, got it done, shut it down, and Virginia walked Florida State off. And it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the other efforts of Chase Hungate. So I'm sure Cam Smith remembers that. A tough loss for the Seminoles in what was a tough year for their team. First losing season in program history, and that's obviously a devastating loss in mid-March of conference play. But he's seen him once before. So maybe tonight he's got an opportunity on the Cape to right some wrongs. Hungate, let's see what he's got. Firebirds debut.
A sidewinder coming in a big spot in the 4th inning. 2 outs, and one of the most feared power hitters here on the Cape coming up to bat. On second is Parker. He singled and moved over to second on the ground ball by Hainline. That was fielded by Penny and tossed over to Olmsted at first. 2 outs, tie game. Cam Smith responsible for 3 of the 4 runs. First pitch from Hungate is outside for a ball. His pitch that he goes to get righties out is the changeup down and in. Also features a 2-seam fastball, along with a slider. The 1-0 pitch is grounded foul, third base side.
Yeah, his sidearm delivery definitely stands out. You know, his Virginia teammates are always in awe of how he delivers the baseball. And you know, some guys, they've always thrown that way. Other guys decide, you know, what can I do with this arm angle? It's not easy to adjust to.
Hungate 1-1 against Smith. Ground ball up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Around third comes Parker. Cam Smith put Hyannis up in the 3rd, puts Hyannis up in the 4th. 5-4 Harbor Hawks on an RBI single from Smith.
What a game he's having. It's completely taken over. First time it was over the wall and no downer left. This time around, middle of the at-bat, up the middle of the infield for a base hit with a runner on second. Smith, just a freshman out of Florida State. He's taken over the Cape Cod League.
The lefty Austin Kelly takes low from Hungate. The sidewinder gets bit. Rubin, who has the best range of anybody. We've seen it. His defensive numbers. He's played behind Hungate at UVA.
And they also played last summer together on the Bristol State Liners of the Appalachian League.
1-0 is outside.
Unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, but Justin Rubin transferring out of UVA to Pepperdine next year, but this is going to be their last chance to probably play baseball together on a consistent basis. Should be a memorable summer for them.
The 2-0 is fouled back right above where we sit. A battle of the number 5s here. Hungate getting the number that Cam Jones used to wear on the Firebirds before he headed out. Austin Kelly out of Lipscomb. Chops it foul.
What a fun player he was. Excited to see where he ends up. Left the team because he has opportunities to transfer to a high-level program. Cam Jones does, after dominating the ASUN with Georgia State for 4 years. The Sun Belt. So excited to see where he ends up as a 2-year Firebird.
Hungate's 2-2 is low. Well, Ian, I have breaking news for you then.
Oh, have you been on the Twitter, the good old Twitterverse?
You know how it is. Cam Jones is at Georgia Tech.
You go Yellow Jackets.
Yes.
Staying in state.
Staying in state. That's right. Full count pitch, 2 outs. Lined into right center field. Way back goes King. It lands. Around third comes Cam Smith. He's going to score. To second on an RBI double is Austin Kelly. Puts up the Harbor Hawks 6-4.
The offense continues to explode for a Hyannis team that has not been winning ball games because necessarily of the bats. But tonight, Hungate comes out of a bullpen trying to provide a bit of a break after a shaky start for Dylan Jacobs. And, we talked a little bit with Chase Loomis before the game. A reliever, just like Hungate, it's difficult to get used to pitching on the Cape. The crowds are great, but these guys play at big schools. You're really dialed in during a collegiate season. You don't really know how to feel when you enter the Cape. It's tough to make your first appearance, especially out of a bullpen, pitching in a whole new environment, a whole new world out here in Cape Cod.
A first pitch strike to Will Taylor, who also hit home run last time up in the third. He's 2 for 2 on the day with a single and a homer. Clemson man against the UVA. ACC. Foul ball onto the hill and over it. 6 runs for Hyannis. 4 for Orleans. We go back and forth. There's been runs scored. Bottom 2, top 3, bottom 3, now top 4. 4 straight half innings. There's been runs and of the multiple variety. Hungate looking to get out of this. Runner on second, 2 outs, 0-2. Swing and a miss by Taylor. He goes down to a knee. Hungate gets his first strikeout, but not before Hyannis puts up 2 to take a 6-4 lead in the top of the 4th. Let's go to the bottom of the inning on the Birds Broadcast Network. We go bottom 4 on the Birds Broadcast Network. A new pitcher for the Harborhawks, a lefty, Cross Sibley out of Southern Miss. A Mississippi boy, 5'9", a rising junior, and he will take over on the mound for the Harborhawks after 3 innings from Mason Nichols.
Is it bad I didn't know that Ole Miss was in Mississippi till like 2 years ago? I thought Ole Miss was just the name of the school.
Where'd you think it was?
I don't know. I didn't know it was the University of Mississippi.
What if it was Old Bama?
Well, it's not.
It's true.
It's just Alabama. Call their school Olama.
That's fair. We can get into my chai debate soon.
Oh, no.
The lefty Sibley is on the mound against Joe Oyama, 3rd time through for Orleans. Oyama's walked and struck out so far tonight, takes the first pitch strike from the lefty.
Sibley, his 3rd appearance on the summer. Gave up an earned run in his first appearance, pitched 2 innings and a loss to Katuitt on the 21st of June.
Fires an off-speed strike to Oyama.
Then bounced back with a scoreless inning and a 10-3 win at Harwich on the 28th of June. Did walk 2 guys. 3 walks in 3 innings, probably a number he'd like to keep down.
0-2 to Oyama, reaching out and poking it, but right into the glove of the second baseman, Snow, for the first out of the inning. Olmsted next up for Orleans, looking to bring some magic from last night to tonight. No zeros on the scoreboard since the top of the second. 2-4, 2-2. Hyannis leads by 2. 1 out. Olmsted takes a ball low. Johnny so far 2 flyouts on the day. 1 to short, 1 to the catcher Parker in foul territory. The 1-0 grounded foul. The sun setting, the lights getting brighter here in Eldredge. And Ian, of course, a night game in July in any one of these Cape Cod Baseball League. As you flay your hands, the bugs are going crazy.
You're going crazy. I need some bug spray. I think our writer Brendan's got some. And now I see him smirking at me. He does, thank goodness.
1-1 is low. Now, how much of an impact does bug spray make? Is it 100% no more bugs? Or,
no.
Or
Dylan, there are no guarantees in this world outside of. Come on, finish the line. There are no guarantees except in.
Death taxes and Johnny Olmsted in the clutch?
I was going to say, what is it? Horseshoes or.
That's something else. That's something
Is that
else.
different? Is that different saying?
Nope, that's there's no close except in
horseshoes.
and
I was
grenades.
close.
I think cornhole you could be close and get a few points. The 2-2, swing and a miss from Olmsted. Pulling the string with Sibley.
Sibley was a great pitcher at Southern Miss. And if you don't know, Southern Miss is a great program out of the MAC. This is not a small school. This is a team that's competing in the NCAA tournament every year. And he's one of their best relievers, pitched over 50 innings in the spring.
Now pitching more here in the Cape. Quickly, 2 outs on the Firebirds. Jack Penny, the batter, takes the first pitch strike from the lefty. The manager, Eric Beatty, for Hyannis, bringing in Sibley to face 2 of 3 lefties. Oyama and Penny of the top 3 in the order for Kelly Nicholson. Bat from the left side. 0-1, another strike called. Sibley 1 strike away from throwing up a 0, which has been rare in tonight's game. 1 of 2 games on the Cape tonight. The 0-2 from the lefty is low. Penny waits on it.
One, two, three, potentially. Something we haven't seen tonight from either team. 10 combined runs. This game has been dragging on in the early stages.
With 10 runs, like you said. 1-2, strike 3 called. Sibley makes it look easy. 2 strikeouts in the inning as we go to the 5th, and my man Ian Nicholas will be taking over for the rest.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Top of the 5th from Eldredge Park. A lot on the line tonight. Firebirds trying to get back to 500 at 10-10. And 18th year manager Kelly Nicholson, 1 win away from number 400 in his legendary Cape Cod Baseball League coaching career. Down 2 runs, 6-4, and Hyannis has an opportunity to add some more. 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Harbor Hawks. It starts with the right fielder, Zach Earhart. Chase Hungate who came in relief of Dylan Jacobs last inning, still on the mound. That bunt laid fair down the left field line. There's nothing you can do about that. Orleans, allegedly the team that bunts the best on the Cape, but Hyannis giving the Birds a run for their money. First pitch leadoff bunt single. And back-to-back on-base appearances for Earhart. Apparently people on our YouTube live stream think Scott Pickler's crew and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox bunt the most. You know what? I need a stat. Because I call the Orleans games. I don't know, but you could definitely be right.
We need a number.
Alex Lane comes to the plate. Takes the strike 0-1.
Over the Firebirds have gotten the advantage on Whitey so far this year.
Yes. A team that usually has Orleans' number in the postseason. Scott Pickler and Whitey's crew. Always a difficult out. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Lane, the DH. But this season, each of the last 2 games have gone the favor of Orleans.
One close, one not so close.
That pitch, not close to being a strike, right at the belt of Lane for a ball, 1-2. That last game was stunning. Late last week, a 10-1 victory for Orleans here at home. Lane 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout and a walk. The 1-2 pitch. Runner goes. Hunter the throw. Oyama the tag. It's not in time. Earhart again. His second stolen base of the game. He's flying through the infield.
Another opportunity for Hyannis, and they get another good jump. Firebirds pitchers have to be a little bit more aware of when guys are on base and checking in on them. They've been run amok ever since a few games ago.
Especially Earhart, who led Oklahoma State in stolen bases in the spring. That's somebody you got to know. Lane swings and misses. That's his second strikeout tonight. And 1 away here in the top of the 5th. Already 9 hits for Hyannis, which has turned into 6 runs. A score in each of the last 3 innings for the Harbor Hawks. And here's the second baseman, Eric Snow.
It's been the top of the order for Hyannis. Last night against Wareham, it was the bottom of the order that killed the Firebirds. Tonight it's the big boys. It's Mitchell, Hainline, Smith, and Kelly, along with Taylor, who have done most of the damage.
No balls and a strike to Snow. Hasn't done a lot of damage tonight. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Pops this one the opposite way to right. Dropping in front of Fenwick Trimble. He makes the catch and makes the throw back to second to keep Earhart there. Back-to-back outs recorded by Chase Hungate in his Firebirds debut, trying to keep it a 2-run game.
Great catch by Fenwick. He comes in. He's playing a little bit shallower than he does. Usually an outfielder that plays a little bit deeper in his position, but had to run in and catch that one so it didn't bloop in between. But Ian, when you're sitting here in the 5th inning against Hyannis, and every batter has reached except one, which was Eric Snow, so when you know your pitching hasn't been good enough that day.
And that's something that usually can't be said about this Firebirds pitching staff. As Parker waves to the pitch and goes behind 0-1. Just a tough start from both the starting pitching and the bullpen's perspective. Hungate trying to settle everything down in his Cape Cod League debut. Miss upstairs, 1-1.
Something I've noticed over the past few games is a lot of runners for the opposing teams against the Firebirds are maybe not going on first opportunity, but they're timing up pitchers from the Firebirds and seeing, are they looking at me? Can I take a few more steps off?
Earhart, he's taking a few steps off second. Already 2 stolen bags today. The 1-1 foul. 1-2.
I mean, it wasn't easy for Hungate. He came into a situation against Cam Smith with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Allows the single to Smith, a double to Kelly, then strikes out Taylor. Ian, we've seen it the whole season, especially at the start. Every pitcher for the Firebirds, they need to get 1 outing under their belt, and then they sort of kind of get back into form, but that first outing doesn't usually go their way.
Hungate trying to debunk your myth, and he does. At least for now, with a looking strikeout of Aaron Parker. A bunt single and a stolen base from Zach Earhart to start the inning. Strikeout, fly out, strikeout to end it. Hungate keeps it a 2-run game after 4.5, and we'll be right back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 5th. The heart of the order due up for the Orleans Firebirds, trying to erase a 2-run deficit in the bottom of the 5th. It starts with the left fielder, who's continuing to dominate tonight, 1 for 2 with a single, Andy Blake. And for the second inning in a row, the Birds face the left-handed reliever from Southern Miss and Cross Sibley.
Man, was he good against the top of the order for the Firebirds.
But not here. Bouncing over the head of third baseman Cam Smith, Andy Blake is bouncing on first base for the second time tonight. He continues to rake. That's the easy pun to make. A leadoff single.
Great swing by Blake. Smith thought he would have it in his glove, but it hit the lip of the grass and bounced over his head. Good luck for the Firebirds, and now Matt Hallback.
Sibley, like you said, went 1-2-3 in the 4th, including back-to-back strikeouts. A different story here in the 5th. As that ball gets away from Kelly, and Andy Blake is going to not only take second, but think about third before stopping after a free bag.
Got lucky over there for the Firebirds because the first baseman in Kelly was chasing after it. The ball slowed down. If that ball reaches the white line where the fans are sitting over there on the right field line, as you can see on your camera angle right there from the third base side, Blake is allowed to take third.
That goes down as an error, the first of the game for either team. Matt Hallback swinging at the first pitch. It goes the opposite way, like is the trend for him. He goes behind 0-1. The tying run at the plate. Hallback has reached in each of his first 2 at-bats tonight. Single in the second, walk in the third. And Blake, after the leadoff single and the error on second. That Sibley breaking ball doesn't get the call from home plate umpire James Fonseca. Ball and a strike.
Hallback, his plate discipline and how he's seeing the ball right now is top tier. Laying off every ball outside the zone.
Just like he does there. Miss on the outside from the left-handed Sibley. 2-1. And Hallback, his third walk of his summer, came into the third inning. Sibley, he's handed out a walk in each of his first 2 relief appearances here on the Cape. Cracked past him in the short, gloved by Hainline. He throws to first in time. One away as Andy Blake has now worked his way around the horn. Started with a single, got the second on an error, and on the ground out from Hallback, now 90 feet away from making it a 1-run game.
And now it's up to Fenwick Trimble, and maybe the Trimble hasn't had the best few at-bats the last 2 games. But he's got to find a way now to get this ball, even on a ground ball, because the infield is playing back for Hyannis. All you got to do is hit a ground ball to shortstop, and this runner, Blake, is going to come around to score. It's all about making contact.
Trimble, 3 of 15 on the week, headed into tonight. Takes a strike, goes behind 0-1 at a pitch that looked a little low of the zone. His average has only gone down a little bit tonight. Had a sack bunt in the second, but struck out swinging into the third. The 0-1 lands in the same spot with the breaking ball, and once again gets the call. 0-2.
When you're Trimble, stuff like that, or where you're struggling, I should say, stuff like that just goes against you. Borderline pitches not going your way.
Sibley working quickly, goes upstairs with the off speed. Trimble, his second strikeout, he goes down on just 3 pitches. And that's back-to-back outs from the Southern Miss star.
Maybe those calls didn't go your way, but all Trimble had to do there was just get the ball in play with the infield back. A strikeout that could hurt the Firebirds, but Eddie King did it with 2 outs last time.
A 2-run single in the third to tie this game at 4 before Hyannis snatched the lead right back. King Jr. goes behind 0-1. Andy Blake takes his lead off third. Led this inning off with a single. Cracked weakly to Smith at third, and that's going to be an out. Sibley with a little trouble to start this inning after a crazy bounce at third led to a leadoff single for Andy Blake. But he's been fantastic, retiring 6 of his 7 Firebirds he's faced in 2 innings out of a bullpen. It stays 6-4 Hyannis after 5. We'll be right back on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. One of the biggest reasons why the Firebirds have been finding so much success as of late is the emphasis of having those unselfish at-bats, and it's really helping them move forward and get guys in scoring positions, as well as mastering the art of the bunt. There's a reason why this team already has put up 64 RBIs on the season. It's because they don't care about their own stat line. They also don't care about their egos. They're putting their egos in their back pocket and making sure they put the team before themselves. And for me, that's some winning baseball. Guys, back to you.
Sammy Orleans trying to play some winning baseball right now, but trails 6-4 to Hyannis. On top of the 6th, Sammy Miller, Ian Nicholson, Dylan Pescatore on the call from Eldredge Park. Well, the Firebirds won big last night in a walk-off of Wareham, looking for another West Division win tonight. Dylan, another call out of a bullpen. Chase Hungate out, and in Jonathan Gonzalez.
Yes, the lefty out of Stetson. He's going to come in. He's been great in middle relief for this Firebirds team. Last time he pitched was 4 days ago against YD in the 10-1 win. He got the 3-inning save in that game after 6 great innings out of the starter. So Gonzalez has been great. 9 1/3 innings pitched, 12 Ks, 11 hits, 2 walks. He's really going to start to lock it down here in the middle innings, or so he hopes, for the Firebirds.
This game started with his Stetson pitcher on the mound and Hatter's teammate Dylan Jacobs. He was up and down in his 4th start of the summer. Was pulled in the middle of the 4th inning for Chase Hungate. And now it's Jonathan Gonzalez back to an arm from the Stetson Hatters. He faces the top of the order for a Hyannis offense that's been fantastic tonight. 6 runs off 9 hits. Nick Mitchell, 1 for 3. He doubled in the 3rd. Mitchell's somebody who knows the Cape well, and he knows both the East and West Division well. If the name sounds familiar, but his role with Hyannis doesn't, you'd be correct. He started the season playing for Scott Pickler's Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. But just like things happen in the real world, things don't break your way. Mitchell was released, picked up by Hyannis. 2 balls and a strike. He was great with YD too. Played in 9 games, hit just under 290, drove in a run, stole a base. Now helping out Eric Beatty's team. A team trying to make it back to the playoff after the best single-season turnaround in Cape Cod Baseball League history last year in his first year at the helm. The 2-2 from Gonzalez. Swing and a miss. The big breaking ball retires Mitchell on 5 pitches. And a great start for Gonzalez out of the pen.
Ian, such an interesting story with Mitchell as Gonzalez strikes him out. Now, Hyannis and YD aren't exactly Wareham and Orleans. Do you think he stayed in the same house, or do you think he changed?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, East and West Division, the Cape is very big. Underratedly so. I got to feel like he got a new host family, but that's an educated guess. A ball and no strikes of his shortstop, Elijah Hainline. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. A couple ground outs to third. He's probably not a big fan of Jack Penny right now. Ball and a strike. Strike low and in. Well located from Gonzalez. He gets ahead.
I think it's so funny whenever some of these players, they go and they tell their friends or family that they're going to play for the YD Red Sox. Probably sometimes just say the Red Sox.
This one launched in the right, dropping in the gap for a base hit. First hit of the night for Hainline. Thinks about 2, retreats to first. A 1-out single. As the Harbor Hawks already have 10 hits. Formerly the Mets, if we want to keep talking about major league teams.
Yeah, Hyannis Mets. I mean, if you're going to say that you play for the Red Sox, someone's got to think you're going to go play at Fenway Park, which was somewhat true at the start of the season on the Fenway Park scout day that got rained out.
Orleans was set to play the New York Yankees scout team that night to start the season, right before their season opener against Hyannis. Got rained out, didn't matter. Orleans still took down the Harbor Hawks 4-1 from McKeon Park. Gonzalez checks it on Hainline. Cam Smith now the batter. He's been one heck of a batter today, hasn't he? He's driven in runs in each of his last 2 at-bats. A 3-run home run in the third, a run-scoring single in the fourth off Chase Hungate. Another check-in on Hainline.
He's been great. 4 RBIs so far for Smith.
Hainline, the all Pac-12 honorable mention with Washington State in the spring, did steal double-digit bags. He takes off, but Smith launches one to left field, caught by Andy Blake, who spins around and secures it. And returning to first is Hainline. Another hard hit ball from Smith, but Orleans does not have to pay the price.
No, and a great job by both outfielders, Trimble and Blake. Trimble, who circled the ball really well on that single by Hainline, forced him to go back to first, and then Blake, who cuts over into left center, and Smith, who just missed it. That would be his second home run on the night.
The lefty catcher, Austin Kelly, first pitch swinging, fouls it away. So 1 on, 2 out. Gonzalez not allowing the Hainline single to derail the inning. Now faces Kelly, the senior from Lipscomb, the same school as the starting pitcher tonight, or at least it was slated to be in Hayden Frank. 0-1, Hunter stares down Hainline at first and scares him back.
For Gonzalez, he's usually coming into a situation of a close game. This is no different. Looking to keep the score where it is.
A ball and a strike. Another check-in. Kelly's also had a great night. 3 and 4 for the Hyannis order. Cam Smith and Austin Kelly have been fantastic. Kelly with a single in the second and a run-scoring double in the fourth. A lot of damage done off Chase Hungate. Gonzalez is going to make sure Hainline doesn't steal a bag.
What number is that, 4, 5?
We don't have an official count, but you're pretty good. Hainline dancing. Off-speed pitch. Misses on the outside corner. Kelly held up. 2-1. Kelly started his collegiate baseball career in Florida, just like Gonzalez, a Florida native through and through, has throughout the entirety of his life, at Northwest Florida State. Then transferred to Mississippi State, then transferred from the Bulldogs program to Lipscomb. So in an era of college baseball that you can pretty much go anywhere whenever you want, Austin Kelly is somebody who's traveled around. The 3-1 misses high. That's a 4-pitch walk. And speaking of guys who have split their time with different teams on the Cape, Kelly began this season with Falmouth and stayed in the West Division with Hyannis, just like the leadoff man, Nick Mitchell, who, as previously mentioned, started the year with Yarmouth Dennis and is now a Harbor Hawk.
You would definitely have to move houses if you played for Falmouth and then Hyannis.
Oh, my gosh.
That is a long way to go.
That's a tough hypothetical. Good at bat from Kelly. He walks. So it's first and second with 2 out. There's a swing and miss from Will Taylor, the center fielder, who hit a home run in the third and also reached on a bunt single in the second. 2 for 3 tonight. Gonzalez has worked through traffic before and has done so well, providing, as you mentioned, multiple innings of relief on numerous occasions for Kelly Nicholson's team. Time is called, and a pitch clock violation is called. Kelly Nicholson has his hands in the air. He can't believe it. Not an official violation, it's a warning on Jonathan Gonzalez. Umpires this season told to monitor time in between pitches, but no hard ruling there. The 1-1 misses low and in.
It's an interesting rule. I'll tell you that. Brewster, there is actually a clock here at Eldredge. No clock, so it's umpire's discretion. I'm not really sure how that helps or hurts the game.
Swing and a miss. Another great off-speed pitch from Gonzalez. Evens the count. He's a strike away from getting out of a jam. First and second. Hangline in scoring position. Kelly after his walk on first. Gonzalez stares down Hangline. Now deals to Taylor and gets the whiff. No problem for Jonathan Gonzalez. Wasn't easy, but it never really is. It stays 6-4 after 5.5. We go to the bottom of a 6, and it's still a 2-run game.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Bottom of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Thanks so much for joining us. The score 6-4 in favor of Hyannis. Orleans an opportunity to cut into the lead. Dylan, for those just joining us for the first time, how have we gotten to this point?
How can I recap it? Well, let's start with this. Henry Hunter got on the board, his first home run of the season. Came in the bottom of the 2nd for the Firebirds. He drove in Matt Hall back. 4 spot for Hyannis, including a 3-run home run by Cam Smith, followed up by a solo shot by Will Taylor, made it 4-2. Then the Firebirds came back in the bottom of the 3rd with Jack Penny and Andy Blake scoring in that inning. A single by Eddie King Jr. drove them in. Then you flip the book back over. 2 more runs for Hyannis in the top of the 4th. That makes it 6-4 if my math is correct.
Which, you know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
You were lucky that I remembered everything that's happened so far tonight. It's been a crazy game both ways.
And it's been a quick couple innings for Orleans from the plate. Cross Sibley out of a bullpen. The lefty from Southern Miss. 22 pitches, 17 of them for strikes. Henry Hunter, first pitch swinging. There's strike number 23, and the 7th out recorded for Sibley, facing just 8 batters. Fantastic. Hunter retired for the first time tonight after his 2-run home run and then a bunt single.
Firebirds offense that was so hot earlier in the game. It kind of reminds me of the Bourne game where the Firebirds scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings, or 2 runs in the first inning, I should say. Then kind of went to sleep. It was tough sledding in the middle innings for the Birds. It's kind of been their kryptonite, talking with some of the coaches. And they've kind of said it. A lot of guys like Cross Sibley have come in from the opposing team and shut them down in innings 4-7 or 5-7. It's been tough sledding until the end of the game.
Justin Rubin trying to change that trend in just his 2nd game with the squad. A clear 72-degree night from Eldredge. The bugs around, the wind whipping. Base is empty, 1 out. Ruben gets ahead 2-1. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got on base in each of his first 2 games here in Orleans, a single in the second and a fly out to right in the third. The rising junior headed to Pepperdine after spending his first 2 seasons with the University of Virginia. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Yeah, that's a change. I'll tell you that. From the East Coast in Virginia over to Pepperdine. So SoCal or NorCal, Ian?
NorCal.
Oh, SoCal.
See, I don't go to school in Arizona. I shouldn't know. The 2-2. Cracked to second. Diving, trying to make the play. Throwing it to first. Not in time. Eric Snow with a heck of an effort at second base. Not an awful throw to Austin Kelly at first. Probably should have ate it. Threw it instead. Ruben beats it out for an infield single and his second knock of the night.
Great job by Ruben. Goes the other way. It wasn't the hardest hit ball, but it found no man's land in between first and second. Snow had no chance as he was diving for it, but the speed of Ruben, too much.
Joe Oyama might not hit the ball the hardest, but he does hit the ball the most often, at least for hits in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Shows bunt, pokes it foul, 0-1. No hits tonight for Oyama, who headed into the game, led the league in batting average at .352. Walked in the first, flew out in the second, lined out to second in the fourth. But his incredible on-base streak continues. The 0-1 is launched in the right, down for a hit. I jinxed him. Oyama, a 1-out single. The throw cut off by Cam Smith. Not a great throw, but Ruben stays at second. And Orleans has the tying run on base with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th.
Back-to-back singles for the Firebirds against Sibley. That was the second time that Oyama's seen him, and now the second time that now Olmsted, Penny, and Blake, 2, 3, 4 in the order, will see him as well.
Olmsted trying to give Orleans a lead for its second night in a row. The walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th and a win against Wareham last night. He takes his strike against Sibley, trying to close out 3 scoreless innings of relief out of a bullpen for Eric Beatty's team. Olmsted 0 for 3 tonight. Popped out in the first, fouled out in the third, struck out in the fourth. Large lead for Ruben off second. Strike in the upper third, 0-2.
Not his pitch right there. High and outside, but now down 0-2 quickly. Olmsted has to be in protection mode now.
Olmsted, the Pac-12 honorable mention selection as Oyama dances off first during his senior season at USC. Put some good wood on it to left, high in the air and foul. Olmsted so close to his 3rd home run of the summer. If it was fair, it was gone. Ruben on second, Oyama on first, both of them with good speed, and both of them singled in the last 2 at-bats against Cross Sibley. 10 hits tonight for the Birds, only 4 runs to show for it. The 0-2, high fly, right field, Austin Kelly in front of the Orleans dugout. Kelly Nicholson holds off Aaron Parker, says, that's foul. You don't need to get any closer to me. 0-2. As we've mentioned.
But Olmsted's got another shot at it now.
Staying alive is the California native, originally from Costa Mesa, just under an hour away from where he's played his college ball. The 0-2, another foul. This time down the left field line.
These have been the type of at-bats for the Firebirds that have got them in it. Drawing up pitch counts, seeing more pitches, and looking for a mistake that Olmsted could capitalize on.
The tying run at first. Go ahead, run at the plate. Another 0-2. This time for strike 3 looking. Cross Sibley works himself into trouble. Is now an out away from getting out of that trouble after he retires Olmsted looking.
Sibley now with 4 strikeouts in his 8 outs recorded. Olmsted not happy with that call. 2 borderline pitches, called strikes against him. But it's past the baton, and now it's Jack Penny.
One of those 4 strikeouts came against Penny. who went down looking against Sibley in the 4th, walked in the 3rd, and reached down a fielder's choice in the 1st. Justin Rubin still on 2nd. Joe Oyama takes his lead off 1st. Both of them singled. A ball and no strikes. Foul. 1-1.
Penny's the guy who's been clutch the whole year for the Firebirds.
On a big hit streak headed into tonight. Jack Penny, one of the most consistent bats in the order for Kelly Nicholson's team. Two on, two out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Low miss with the off-speed pitch, 2-1.
Him and Holback, both not expanding the zone no matter what. It's a lefty-lefty. It's a tough matchup, but with the speed of Rubin on 2nd, any ball to the outfield, he's coming around.
Rubin, a great athlete, a great defensive infielder. He's been good from the plate. Pop foul again. 2-2. Sibley now a strike away from stranding the tying run, Joe Oyama, on the base paths.
This is where Penny goes into not only protection mode, but he will not expand.
Sibley, who had a great redshirt freshman season for Southern Miss, a 3.7 ERA, 58 innings pitched, 59 strikeouts. He's given the Eagles plenty of long relief appearances. Pitched 4 innings on 3 separate occasions. Trying to get through 3 innings tonight. He does! Sibley with some nasty stuff up in the zone that gets the whiff out of Jack Penny and leaves 2 base runners stranded for Orleans. It stays 6-4. 3 scoreless out of a bullpen for the Southern Miss star Cross Sibley. Top of the 7th we go on the Birds Broadcast Network. The Firebirds with opportunities over the last 2 innings to cut into the deficit. But the pitching of Cross Sibley out of a bullpen for Hyannis has kept it 6-4. Top 7, Jonathan Gonzalez trying to do the same exact thing. He faces 6, 7, and 8, and it starts with the right fielder, Zach Earhart. Both of these guys with pretty tight family ties to the game of baseball. For Earhart, very relevant in terms of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Now, his father, Rodney, he was drafted into the MLB on 2 different occasions, ended up playing 4 years with the Yankees in the minor leagues. Take on the outside, 2-0. But Zach's brother, Drew, played baseball at the University of Tampa, and he's now one of the assistant coaches on his Hyannis Harbor Hawk staff. Breaking ball in for a strike, 2-1. U-Tampa represented throughout the entirety of Eric Beatty's coaching staff as Beatty pitched for U-Tampa back in the day. For 2-1, smoked the other way, and it drops for a base hit right in front of Fenwick Trimble. It dribbles. A leadoff single for Earhart. Back-to-back hits for him after he reached on a bunt single in the 5th.
Just a perfect placement single right there by Earhart. Over the head of Olmsted and into right field. Nothing he could do about it, nothing Orleans can do about it. Gonzalez just has to wipe it away and get right back to work.
Gonzalez gets back to work against the DH Alex Lane. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Now, I mentioned both guys with close family ties. The same could be said for Gonzalez as he checks in on Earhart. Gonzalez's older brother, Chris, played at Stetson for 5 years, was also a pitcher. from 2018 to 2022 and was a captain for the Hatters. His younger brother, Anthony, currently a rising sophomore catcher at Stetson. So not only does Gonzalez have some Stetson familiarity here on the Cape with Dylan Jacobs, who made his start tonight for Orleans, but also back with the Hatters program. That program means everything to him and his family. The 1-0 swung on and missed. Now a ball and a strike for Lane.
Same program that just got a new baseball field as well. Some renovations over there in DeLand.
A place you know well.
Yes, sir.
The 1-1 also hit the opposite way. Also down for a hit. It's just fair as it dribbles into foul territory. Earhart's going to get the sign to go home. He's got great speed, but he can't come home. The ball dribbled all the way through foul territory, and there's a little white line right in front of the fans at the edge of a hill that pretty much says if the ball leaks over this line, the ball's out of play completely. So a great hit that's going to go down as a base hit for Alex Lane, but Zach Earhart could not score on that play.
No, a little bit lucky for the Firebirds as it just dribbled into that out-of-bounds area at the base of the hill where the fans are sitting. Trimble looked to get to it but couldn't before, so a run would have scored if it didn't. Now Gonzalez has a chance of getting out of it, but not the place the Firebirds want to be, having to bring the infield in.
So it's a double for Alex Lane after the single from Zach Earhart. First and second, nobody out. That breaking ball misses outside of his second baseman, Eric Snow. Gonzalez worked out of a jam last inning. 2 base runners on as Hainline and Kelly reached, but a strikeout of Will Taylor end of the inning. It's going to be a little more difficult. The 1-0 swung on, missed, tried to keep it in front of home plate and could not. Now a ball and a strike.
Gonzalez needs the strikeout. He needs the ground ball to the infield here. Earhart doesn't have to run on a ball on the ground with nobody out.
Snow popped up, foul territory. Trimble on his horse, reaching the fans, can't make the catch. 1-2.
And that's not the worst result, Ian, because Trimble, if he makes that catch, he's also running into the fans. At least one run is going to score on Earhart. Of course, you want Gonzalez to get the strikeout or the infield pop or the infield ground out, so not the worst result there. It does bring a strike, however.
Gonzalez with just over 30 pitches and 1 inning of work out of a bullpen. 18 strikes, 13 balls. The 1-2 swung on to Ruben on his knees, makes a great play and makes the play at first, but a base running gaff as Lane took off for second, and they're going to tag him out. Joe Oyama's there to retire him to the bullpen, the dugout rather.
What was Lane thinking? On second base with nobody out, a grounder to short, and he's running toward third base, and the runner on third, Earhart, was staying there as he should. Lane just not thinking right there. And a big, big play for the Firebirds, a double play.
And one of the more interesting double plays you'll see. Good job from Ruben, not only to get the ball to first base, but then also to hold Earhart at third in the process. Kept Earhart at third, got the out at first of Snow. Then the first baseman for Orleans tonight, Olmstead, was able to make a play once again as that ball is fair. Penny throws across the diamond. Somehow Jonathan Gonzalez works out of his second and third jam with nobody out. He's just making it look easy. But a base running gaff bails out Gonzalez. Alex Lane caught in the pickle between second and third. Ended up being a double play on a ground out from Zach Earhart, or from Eric Snow rather. And then Aaron Parker, inning ends of a ground out from him. Bottom of the 7th we go. We'll stretch a little bit here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Score still 6-4 in favor of the Harbor Hawks.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
We're back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 7th, but Cross Sibley, who provided 3 scoreless innings of relief out of a bullpen for Eric Beatty's Hyannis crew, is out. 6-4 the score. It's been the score for the last couple innings, and Dylan, new pitcher in the game, it's Hiroyuki Yamada from Mount Hood Community College, originally from Oregon.
That's right, Mount Hood Community College in Oregon, confirmed. Last time he pitched was June 29th against Katuitt in an 8-0 loss. He went 2 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks. Overall, a 4.5 ERA, 7 Ks, but 5 walks in 6 innings, along with 9 hits. So a chance for the Firebirds to continue on and try to cut into this 2-run lead.
Yamada, he has some great stuff at the JUCO level. With Mount Hood Community College, he was a starter. Just under a 2.5 ERA in 11 appearances, 10 of them starts in the spring. 75 strikeouts in just over 61 innings pitched. For the freshman, he led the Northwest Athletic Association in strikeouts with just over 11 Ks per 9. Now he faces Andy Blake, who was not K'd tonight. In fact, he's reached base with a couple singles in each of his last 2 times up. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Orleans. Blake takes a strike, 0-1.
Blake is a guy who's been real hot, but a sidewinder. Look at Yamada. He has his left foot, his front foot, across his body before he starts in the windup.
And he winds up and deals the 1-0. That misses low. We've seen Chase Hungate pitch tonight with a sidearm release for Orleans in his first appearance of his summer. The UVA man, but Hiroyuki Yamada, definitely the most interesting release we've seen from any pitcher tonight. Blake, swing and a miss.
An interesting windup. I mean, you have the front foot that starts across his body, then he pulls it back and almost bounces 3 times before he goes into his leg lift.
He's got it down to a T.
Watch that front leg. It'll come back. It'll bounce 1, 2.
Maybe you're wrong.
3 times.
The 1-2. A little bit of hesitation on that third pump of his front leg.
But that's also a strategy and a technique because he can hold on and hold and hold. His windup is in motion, but he can hold it and really throw off hitters' timings.
As a Yankee fan, it reminds me of Nestor Cortez and the crazy antics that he pulls before pitches to mess with timers, mess with batters' timing in the MLB. The 1-2, weakly grounded, pass for glove of Yamada, charging it short, trying to make the play at first. No play to make. Austin Kelly pulled off the bag after Elijah Hainline charged into the infield grass and attempted to make the play, but Andy Blake beats it out for an infield single. That's the 22nd hit of the night between these 2 teams. An offensive explosion in the 3rd for Andy Blake.
Andy Blake with great hustle. Got it past the mound. Hainline had no shot, but great job by Kelly over at first base. He dove to keep that ball in front of him, or else Blake might be at second right now.
Now Yamada faces Hallback, who fouls back the first pitch he sees as Blake took off for second. A good night for the rising junior from UC San Diego, the California native. 1 for 2, singled in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, and grounded out to short in the 5th.
Hallback's the man to do it. No homers yet on the year. He's got a triple. He's looking for his first out of the park.
Hallback might know Yamada well. Both players played in the West Coast League a year ago. Hallback was an all-league selection with the Wenatchee Apple Sox, where he was teammates alongside fellow Firebird Joe Oyama. Yamada played for the Kelowna Falcons. Popped up to straightaway center. It appears to be dropping. Will Taylor can't make the catch as he dives into the ball in center field. A tough play to make for Will Taylor. He does not make it. That's the 11th hit of the game for the Firebirds, 2 in a row. Andy Blake on second, Matt Hallback on first, his second hit. And Taylor, a yard sale, but he couldn't come up with the ball.
And he didn't see it. He was charging in towards the infield and was putting his hands out to his side. I don't see it. I don't see it. It was kind of like last night. That shallow outfield is very hard to see the ball, and it costs Will Taylor an out right there. Back-to-back singles for the Firebirds. Not pretty, but it works.
Fenwick Trimble, 0 for 3 tonight, shows bunt, pulls it back 1-0. Dylan alluding to the play in last night's 7-6 walk-off victory against Wareham. Joe Oyama at second base, bases loaded, pop-up. Oyama lost the ball in the lights. Bases clearing, double in the books. Trimble, foul bunt.
Oh, man, look at that. He bunted it down. It bounced back up and hit his bat again and goes foul. A foul ball because he was still in the box.
Did lay down a sac bunt successfully in the second inning, but the knob of Trimble's bat not helping him here in the bottom of his 7th, trying to move Blake to third and Hall back to second with nobody out. Shows bunt again. Charging over from first base is Kelly, knowing what's coming next. Ball 2.
Telling you, if Trimble can get it down this third base line, Kelly coming in, he'll have to go all the way across. Out will come Parker, Yamada as well. Could cause some trouble for Hyannis' defense.
Kelly creeping up towards Trimble, pulls the bunt back, takes his strike on the outer half. 2-2.
Trimble may be a little bit too picky there.
Trying to find the perfect pitch to lay down potentially his second successful bunt of the night.
Now with 2 strikes, you can't do that.
Kelly no longer playing in the grass with 2 on and nobody out. Trimble doesn't need a bunt. He has a hit right in front of Will Taylor in center. And the base is loaded with nobody out for Orleans. Fenwick Trimble in desperate need of a hit, delivers. And now both teams with 12 hits tonight for a grand total of 24 through 6 innings.
Here's Eddie King. And, man, did Eddie King come up clutch last time. A 2 RBI single. Firebirds need a big hit. And against Yamada, it has not been pretty. It's been an infield single by Blake. A single by Hallback in the infield, or in the shallow outfield as well, that Taylor didn't see.
Yamada is low to the bases after 3 straight singles. Eddie King Jr. gets ahead 1-0. 1 for 3 tonight, but his one was a big one. A single that scored a pair of runs for Orleans in the 3rd inning. Yamada trying to limit the damage. Keep a 2-run lead. The 1-0 pitch fouled away. Yamada came into tonight having pitched 6 innings across 4 appearances for Hyannis, and he had given up a lot of hits, 9 of them. Now it's 12 hits in 6 innings. He's yet to record an out. Pumps that front leg, deals the 1-1. 2-1. A balk. A balk is called. Can you believe it? Yamada can't believe it, and neither can Eric Beatty, the second-year manager of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Orleans now within a run of this game. Andy Blake scores. Matt Hall back to third. At first is Fenwick Trimble. A balk before that pitch was delivered from Hiroyuki Yamada.
Incredible. Every night we come to the ballpark, something new happens. And Hyannis' bench is not happy about it. Yamada has a bit of a weird windup, and he was going from the windup because it was bases loaded.
Beatty, a great pitcher in his own right back in the day, upset with that. A Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Famer as a player and an unbelievable pitcher for Bourne back in 2003. Stunned at the 5th run of the game for Orleans, comes across the board after a balk from Yamada with the bases loaded. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. King on the 1-1 lays off it for ball 2.
Now the Firebirds 1 hit away from taking the lead. A back-and-forth game in Orleans.
3 straight hits to start this inning. Can King provide his second knock of the night? Ahead in the count, 2-1. That piece of a pitch got him right on the left elbow pad. Things starting to fall apart for Hyannis Not a strong outing for Hiroyuki Yamada. And now for the first time tonight, Eric Beatty makes his way out to the mound in desperate need of a pitching change. His team still with the lead, but the bases once again loaded. Nobody out, and Yamada yanked without recording an out. And a call to the bullpen, as you can see, a new arm comes in about as tough a situation as you can inherit. Orleans revving to get back in the lead. 6-5 is score. Hyannis on top. We'll be right back in just a few to tell you who the new arm is in the game for the Birds. Hiroyuki Yamada out of the game after loading the bases, balking, driving in a run, and then reloading the bases without recording an out for Hyannis. Dylan, Eric Beatty calls to the bullpen, and he calls upon a left-handed pitcher from Virginia in Bradley Hodges.
Yes, he does, and Bradley Hodges, not a lot of experience out here on the Cape. First appearance was 3 days ago against Bourne. It wasn't great. 2 2/3, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 3 Ks, but he comes from the left side. That's what Henry Hunter does as well. That's what he's playing for. Bases juiced, nobody out. Firebirds looking for a big knock out of Henry. He's already got one tonight.
2-run home run in his first at bat of the night in the second inning to give Orleans the lead. Ever since, the Birds have been outscored 6-3, trying to retake the lead. Hallback off third, Trimble off second. Both of them singled. Eddie King Jr. was just plunked. He's on first. 1-0. Hodges misses outside.
And for Hunter, you have to be very selective here. Hodges is coming out of the bullpen. A few warm-up pitches, but none in the game. Wait for a strike.
Is pitch number 2 a strike? It's a swing and miss, and there's strike 1. Up in the zone. Hunter can't track down the high fastball and evens the count.
You want to be the man, you want to be the hero, but you have to be selective.
Hodges deals, breaking ball dips, but not down far enough, ball 2.
That was more on Parker. He stood up before he even caught the ball. That could have been ruled a strike, but he blocked the umpire's view.
The umpire behind the dish, James Fonseca. Bases loaded, 2-1 pitch. That time he doesn't pop up, and it's a strike. Count even to 2-2. Hodges, a great freshman season with Virginia, a team that advanced to the Super Regional past East Carolina. The 2-2 offering, outside ball 3, and Hodges a ball away from walking in a run. A balk from Hiroyuki Yoshida already brought 1 run across the board for Orleans. Could another free pass do the same? The payoff, swung on, fair, into the glove of Kelly. Throw home, off the mark. Hallback scores, and now another coming home. Trimble slides, he's safe. Orleans the lead.
Defensive errors by Hyannis. Kelly, who doesn't take the free out he wanted to keep the lead. He throws it wide. Parker can't handle it. All he had to do was keep his foot on home and catch the ball. And now Orleans takes advantage.
The Birds pull ahead and now lead by the same score that earned them a win last night against Wareham. Hunter reaches on a fielder's choice, and King now on second after he was hit by pitch. Justin Rubin lays down a bunt. Spinning around, Hodges retires, his former UVA teammate. But the bunt doing what it needs to do. Still plenty of inning to go. King now at third, Hunter now at second, and the first out finally recorded.
Rubin does his job and now brings up Oyama with the infield in. A perfect scenario for Orleans. A guy who loves to make hard contact to the outfield against an infield that now has to be really good in their reaction time and also make a good throw home.
An errant throw from Austin Kelly at first pulled Aaron Parker away from the plate with the bases loaded as Oyama falls behind 0-1. Allowed both Hallback and then also Trimble to score in what's been a 3-run inning for Orleans. Its first lead since Henry Hunter's 2-run home run in the bottom of the second inning. 0-2, big swing from Oyama, who's reached twice tonight, once on a walk and another time on a single.
Oyama's got to get the ball in play here, any means necessary. Eddie King doesn't have to run, but he probably will on any contact. Oyama's kryptonite has been the high fastball.
Is that what Hodges goes to? No, it's a breaking ball. Strike three pops out of a glove of Aaron Parker. It's been a tough inning for Parker behind the dish, and Oyama benefits from a mistake and gets ahead.
And not only will he have to keep a ball near the plate this time if they come home, he'll also have to tag King with only one out and no force coming home.
King on third, Hunter on second. The 0-2, launched the other way to left. Oyama, a well-hit ball. Mitchell tries to catch up to it, and he does. But Eddie King Jr. scores. Second night in a row, a sac fly for Joe Oyama. The lead grows for Orleans, 8-6 in the bottom of the seventh. 4 runs in the inning.
Maybe not an inning with a lot of hard-hit balls, but situationally, the Firebirds have been incredible. Oyama, a 2-strike count, lifts the ball to the outfield. Mitchell makes the catch, and no one's going to catch King coming home. A big insurance run.
Johnny Olmstead comes to the plate. 1 on, 2 out. Henry Hunter, after he reached on a fielder's choice, which led to 2 runs being scored by Matt Hallback and Fenwick Trimble. He's now on second. Bradley Hodges deals a breaking ball, which misses high. 2-0. You mentioned it, just getting it done by whatever means necessary. With first and second, Justin Rubin with a sac bunt to move the runners in the scoring position, and then Joe Oyama with a sac fly to bring Eddie King across home plate for his team-high 12th time this season. 3 balls, no strikes. Olmstead trying to pass the baton and keep a very fruitful bottom of the seventh alive for Orleans. Strike 1 on the upper third. Olmstead tonight with back-to-back strikeouts. Went down swinging in the 4th, looking in the 6th. He's 0 for 4 overall. But he works out a walk and reaches. A 5-pitch, 2-out walk as Bradley Hodges can't stop the bleeding for Hyannis, who still trails 8-6. 4 runs for the Birds and a mound visit from Hyannis' pitching coach with Jack Penny-Dua.
Penny will be the 9th batter to the plate in this inning for the Firebirds. A complete turnaround, but a lot of ball to go. It's been back and forth all night between the Harborhawks and the Firebirds, so they need a little bit more. You want to feel comfortable. Penny drive one into the gap.
It's Eric Luxus, the pitching coach for Eric Beatty's staff, having a conversation with the pitcher Bradley Hodges, who Dylan was inserted in a tough situation. Bases loaded, nobody out, and since coming into the ball game, has allowed 3 more runs to come across the board for Orleans. What do you think that conversation was about?
Just trying to calm down. I think this game has gotten really pressure-packed. You're on the road. The fans are clapping and really getting excited as Orleans takes the lead. calm down, get this last out, and hopefully the offense can come back and score 2.
Olmsted on first. He walked. Hunter on second. Reached on a fielder's choice. Big breaking ball misses upstairs. And Penny gets ahead 1-0. Hodges, he's thrown only 17 pitches. It feels like more. Pop up in the infield. Near first base, Austin Kelly makes the catch in the lights and ends a wonky, wild, and wonderful inning for Orleans. They leave 2 base runners stranded, but the Birds back in control. 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th, and now Orleans leads Hyannis 8-6. And the Birds maintain that lead when a new arm comes out of a bullpen. You'll find out who it is in the top of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Orleans 6 outs away from Kelly Nicholson's 400th win, but that's not on the minds of many. It's still back and forth. Orleans was down 2 runs heading into the bottom of the 7th and was able to flip the script and take an 8-6 lead with 4 runs against the Hyannis bullpen. Kelly Nicholson calls to the bullpen. Jonathan Gonzalez done, Dylan, and he did really well, worked through a lot of traffic.
He worked through a lot of traffic, but more specifically, he got where the Firebirds could come back, score 4. There was a lot of opportunities for Hyannis to extend the lead. They could not. He kept it at 6-4, and he gave the Firebirds a chance. That's all they needed, and they took advantage of it.
Before we tell you who the new pitcher in the game is, how about we tell you about the only out-of-town score tonight? The Chatham A's lead the Harwich Mariners 6-4 in the top of the 6th from Veterans Field. Chatham, who sits at the bottom of the East Division standings and comes here tomorrow to play Orleans on the 4th of July, could desperately use that win. Dylan, Chase Loomis out of Texas. He's back on the mound for the 2nd night in a row.
Yes, and last night got only 1 out against YD, allowing 2 runs, both being earned. But he was good. Coming out, bases loaded, jam, trying to find his footing. He says that he's starting to really feel comfortable here. And this would be a big inning. 2-run lead, top 8, a lot of pressure, and you got to face the top of the order for Hyannis.
The 23-year-old Loomis, who didn't play at all over his first 3 years with Texas, the rising redshirt junior. Missed a couple seasons with Tommy John surgery. The COVID-19 pandemic also affecting a lack of playing time over his first 3 years at the collegiate level. Making a big appearance here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, trying to keep it a 2-run lead for Orleans. The leadoff man, Nick Mitchell, grounds out to Joe Oyama. Johnny Olmsted gloves it at first. 1 away off just 2 pitches. A good start for Loomis here in the top of the 8th.
Loomis, if we're looking into the matchup game, lefty and Mitchell, lefty and Kelly, the cleanup hitter. But these are the 2 righties he's got to face. Hainline and then the man on deck, which we all know, Cam Smith.
Hainline has had a solid game in his own right. Singled his last time up in the 6th against Jonathan Gonzalez. Also walked in the 3rd. Is grounded out twice, too. Miss up and away from the Texas native Loomis, 1-0.
Loomis has to throw strikes. When he can get in trouble, it's being picky, throwing around the zone, but not in it.
Another pitch not in the zone. Breaking ball upstairs. Hainline. 2 balls, no strikes.
You don't want to put a runner on for Cam Smith, down 2, or up 2.
Smith with 4 RBIs on the night, including a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning off Dylan Jacobs. 3 balls, no strikes. All of Loomis's misses above the zone for the lefty. And that one low and in for ball 4. A 4-pitch, 1-out walk for Elijah Hainline. And somebody who's already hit a home run today, and Cam Smith comes to the plate as the tying run.
It's not what you wanted to do. You didn't want to walk a guy in front of Cam Smith. Now you have to deal with a big righty against the lefty Loomis. But I don't think Kelly Nicholson's going to let it get there.
And I think you're right. The 18th year manager, the 4-time Cape Cod Baseball League Coach of the Year. A win away from 400, trying to do everything in his power to win the game. And with Cam Smith coming up to the plate, the bullpen is called upon again. It's Nate Ward, the righty from Grand Canyon, to come into the game. 8-6, Orleans in the lead, tying run at the plate. We'll be right back with a pitching change in a few.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
One pitcher who pitched last night in and out for another pitcher who also pitched last night. Chase Loomis out of the game after recording just 1 out. Got a ground out of Nick Mitchell, but then walked Elijah Hainline to bring up the hard-hitting third baseman, Cam Smith, and Nate Ward up to the task tonight to shut down Smith, who's been remarkable as of late.
Yes, he has. 6'8", 260. Nate Ward, after a great season at GCU, an ERA under 1. Last night he came in, got a ground out of J.C. Cologne, and then it kind of went awry. He got a routine ground ball, but it was played away and misplayed by Drew Farrow at shortstop, and then walked Nick McLean at the top of the order before Chase Loomis came in right after him. Tonight it's reversed, and Ward has to get Loomis out of trouble.
Ward, the rising senior from Grand Canyon, the big-bodied right-handed pitcher. Spent a couple seasons at a Division I JUCO, also in Arizona, Yavapai College, and had a terrific junior season with a 0.72 ERA for the Lopes of Grand Canyon in 25 innings pitched out of a bullpen. But Cam Smith, one of the best freshmen in all of the ACC this past season with Florida State. First pitch swinging, fouled off. 0-1. Smith has terrorized Orleans tonight. 2 for 4, a 3-run home run in the third, and then an RBI single an inning later. 12 hits tonight for both teams, something you don't see often in the Cape Cod League. 14 runs to show for it. Ward trying to keep it that way. High fly, smoke to right the opposite way, foul. 0-2.
The short right over there, 314. Cam Smith has been putting real good swings on the ball. Will Ward bring out the slider? It's been the pitch that's kind of been beaten up on him so far this year. Few homers allowed on it. Or does he go right back to the heater at the top of the zone?
Cam Smith with a few home runs in the spring, 12 as a freshman in the ACC. Fouls that pitch off, 0-2. 12 home runs at Florida State, most for a Seminole as a freshman in 19 years. He's going to be a wrecking force. But can Nate Ward hold him off? He's ahead in the count, 0-2. Runner on first is Hainline, who walked off Chase Loomis. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Ward gets the out. And it's the second out of the inning. What a big K.
He went to the slider, low in the zone. Cam Smith was looking fastball, got him to swing over it. Big out for Ward. The inning's not over just yet.
It's not. Austin Kelly, an RBI double in the fourth inning. 2 hits on the night. But Kelly Nicholson is going to go to the bullpen again.
Going to the lefty.
You want to play the matchup game? He wants number 400 tonight. He's going to do everything in his power to get there, as it's the third different pitcher in the inning. And it's a smirking Riley Fry who's going to enter the ballgame. We'll take another break. 1 on, 2 out. Pitching changes galore. Slows down the game a little bit. We'll be back. Stay with us on the Birds Broadcast Network. If you left and came back to the Birds Broadcast Network, you haven't missed a whole lot over the last few minutes. Only 2 outs recorded in this inning. There have been more pitching changes than outs recorded. Inning started with Chase Loomis from Texas. Got a ground out of Nick Mitchell, then walked Elijah Hainline. Kelly Nicholson plays the matchup game, goes for the righty to face the righty Cam Smith and Nate Ward. Nate Ward strikes out Cam Smith. Kelly Nicholson comes right back out of a bullpen, taps his right wrist, looks to the bullpen, and says, now it's time for a lefty to face the lefty, Austin Kelly. And Dylan, that is the man out of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Riley Fry.
Yes, it is. A lefty and Fry, 9 2/3 innings, 12 Ks, 4 walks and 9 hits. He's been the loogie out of the bullpen, the lefty specialist for Kelly Nicholson, and he's looking to do it one more time against Austin Kelly. Now keep in mind, Kelly is the only lefty in this order other than Mitchell at the top. So Fry has to get Kelly, or else he's going to face the righty Taylor.
Fry hasn't given up a run in any of his last 4 appearances. His latest coming in the loss to Bourne 2 days ago on the road from Durham Park, where he pitched 2 scoreless.
And he was great. Got out of 2 bases loaded situations. Was really, really good under pressure.
The tying run once again at the plate. Austin Kelly, 2 for 3 tonight. He's reached on 3 of his 4 at-bats. Gets ahead 1-0. Runner on first is Elijah Hainline. He was walked by Chase Loomis. That was 2 different pitchers ago. Lefty on lefty, the matchup game. Swung on, off the mound. Oyama can't make the play. A 2-out single for Austin Kelly, his 3rd hit of the night. And the tying run now on base for Hyannis. Fry going to stay in the game and now face a righty in Will Taylor.
This is not what you wanted if you're Orleans. You don't get the lefty. Kelly does a good job of staying right back up the middle and getting the base hit. But Will Taylor has already got a home run on the night. He's the go-ahead run.
Taylor with back-to-back hits to open this game, a bunt single in the second, a solo shot in the third. Ever since, has struck out swinging twice in the 4th and 6th. The go-ahead run at the plate. 13 hits tonight for Hyannis, 12 for Orleans, with 0-1. Taylor, the Clemson superstar, a 2-sport athlete, facing a pitcher from the NAIA level, a dominant force in the Horizon League, and Riley Fry, trying to keep it 8-6 Orleans. High fly, left center field. It's going to drop. Eddie King's in front of it. He makes the catch. 3 different pitchers, 3 outs recorded. No runs to show for it for Hyannis. Eddie King glides to the dugout. Happy because it's still 8-6 Orleans after 7.5. Trying to add on to that lead when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the inning.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Win number 400 for manager Kelly Nicholson could be obtained tonight. One last chance to add some run support ahead of the top of the ninth on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Birds lead 8-6 over the Harbor Hawks for the second inning in a row. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Orleans. It starts with the left fielder Andy Blake, who faces Bradley Hodges, who returns to the mound for Hyannis, the lefty from Virginia.
Hodges came in last inning after Yamada almost allowed a run himself. It was 3 singles by the Firebirds. Hodges came in, fielder's choice, sac bunt, sac fly, a walk, and then a flyout.
A wonky inning, which ended in 4 runs scored for Orleans as Blake goes behind 1 and 2. First 3 base runners reached, including Blake on a single, but that was against Hiroyuki Yamada, as you mentioned. Then a balk led to Blake scoring, and that started a run. That should have been strike 3, but dropped by Aaron Parker. Blake stays alive on the 1-2, and the rest of the runs scored in wild fashion. The next 2 scored on a wild throw from Austin Kelly, the first baseman, to Parker at home, which led to not only Matt Hallback scoring with the bases loaded, but also Fenwick Trimble. And then a sac fly from Joe Oyama after a sac bunt from Justin Rubin scored 1 more run. Blake takes and evens the count. Been another good night for the future Duke Blue Devil. And Andy Blake, 3 straight hits after a line out to right in the first. Hodges on the 2-2 gets Blake to pop up to right, but it drops into the glove of Zach Earhart. His second put out to retire Blake tonight, 1 away in the bottom of the 8th.
The name of the game for Orleans is insurance. No lead is safe against Hyannis. We've talked about in the pregame. They've come back from 6 runs down in the 9th inning of a game before this season. There is no lead. That scares the Harbor Hawks.
That comeback win for Hyannis, the largest recorded comeback in terms of run differential in league history since Point Streak was used to keep track of stats. That one was blistered fair down the left field line. Matt Hallback racing on his way to second. There's the throw. It's in time despite a slide from Hallback. Excellent throw from Nick Mitchell and left. The tag applied by Eric Snow at second. And Hallback tries to stretch a great hit ball into a double and can't for the second out of the inning.
Hallback had the right idea, but a great throw. Mitchell to Snow, 7-4. The put out had to be perfect, and it was. Hallback thrown out.
Hallback, his 3rd hit of the night, but what does it mean? Not a whole lot. Base is empty, 2 out, and Fenwick Trimble goes behind 0-1. Bradley Hodges catches a break, and that breaking ball drops in for strike 2 looking. Trimble singled his last time up, came around the score. And the errant throw from Austin Kelly at first of a home plate dish. Has struck out twice tonight and strikes out a third time. Briefly dropped by Parker, but the tag applied. And the inning ends 1-2-3 for Bradley Hodges on the mound. Kelly Nicholson, his team 3 outs away from 400 wins for the longtime skipper. Can his team get it? When we come back to the top of the ninth on the Birds Broadcast Network, you'll have to tune in to find out. Top of the ninth here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. First pitch swinging for the right fielder, Zach Earhard. In the center field, Eddie King makes the catch easily. 1 out down, 2 outs to go. Riley Fry trying to record those outs. And Kelly Nicholson will win away from 400 here in his Cape Cod Baseball League coaching career.
Fry has looked good, even though he's facing righties. Looking to get the final 2.
Now he faces Alex Lane, the designated hitter who doubled his last time up and has walked tonight. That's a ball, 1-0. A game that you had to see to believe. Swing and a miss, 1-1. 8-6 Orleans with the lead. 4 of its 8 runs scored in the bottom of a 7th. 26 combined hits. Fry misses low and in to the righty. Lane, who gets ahead. The Northeastern star, Alex Lane, faces the Wisconsin-Milwaukee standout, who misses high, now 3-1. Orleans also trying to get back to 500 tonight. 9-10 on the year. Haven't had back-to-back wins since a 3-game win streak 2 weeks ago. Lane fouls it back, 2-2. Fry, a starter at Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and an All-Horizon League selection to the second team in each of the last 3 seasons. Gets another foul ball out of Lane. Still a 2-strike count. A pinch hitter on deck for Hyannis and Ethan Bates. The payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. A 1-out walk for Alex Lane. And now the tying run, represented by Ethan Bates, the Louisiana Tech product, in an 8-6 game.
Also a 2-way. Has pitched a few innings for these Harbor Hawks and now comes up to the plate. No extra base hits so far on the year for Bates.
But Eric Beatty, with his team down 2, in search of its 3rd straight win, turns to Bates from LA Tech, the Arkansas native. A terrific junior season, a 3rd-team All-American, and a 1st-team All-Conference selection as a utility player. Time is called. The home plate umpire, James Fonseca, motioning to the outfield. Andy Blake in left, throwing a ball that seemed like it got out of the Hyannis bullpen back to where it came. And play resumes. and the pinch hitter Ethan Bates instead of Eric Snow. There's the strike on the upper third, 0-1. One on, one out. Lane walked, he's on first. 1-1. And another pinch hitter on deck, too. And Brody Donay. Eric Beatty emptying out his bench in the top of the ninth. Even in a game in which the lineup has generated 13 hits. The 1-1 popped up, right field, foul territory. Olmsted races for it, dives, can't make the catch. If you don't think these players know what's on the line tonight for their manager, Kelly Nicholson, that diving catch attempt from Johnny Olmsted proves how much this game means.
Oh my goodness. Took a back step and just went on a full-out sprint down the foul line. It was a foul ball the whole way and still went for it. Olmsted, what an effort.
Kelly Nicholson, it's a big day. It's a good crowd. A win away from 400 in his coaching career here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. The 1-2 misses outside to the pinch hitter Bates and evens the count. You can see Nicholson right there. Off the left side of Bates, staring down the card and looking back at the field. Swing and a miss. Riley Fry, his second out of the inning. And Orleans an out away from some history. It's another pinch hitter, and Brady Donay from Virginia Tech, who's pinch hitting in place of Aaron Parker, the catcher. Runner on first is Alex Lane. The DH walked against Fry. The tying run at the plate.
Donay with extra base hits in the last two, but not a home run since the 16th of June.
Fry misses low, 1-0. 8-6 game. Orleans hasn't had back-to-back wins in over a week. 4-4 in its last 8. The 1-0 fouled away, deflects off Hunter. Even count. Riley Fry has already closed out 2 games this season for Orleans. Looking to get it done in the most meaningful way tonight. The 1-1 popped up, foul out of the park. A strike away now. 22 seasons with one team. 18 is the manager. There he is to the right side of the screen. A championship in 2005 as the skipper. Another one in 03 as the pitching coach. 5 East Division titles. 4 Manager of the Year awards. Fry's 1-2. Lined in the center. Down for a hit. Donay gets it done off the bench. Racing towards third is Lane. The throw cut off by Oyama. And the tying run now on base for Hyannis. A 2-out single from Brady Donay.
What an at-bat with 2 strikes. He gets the job done. Goes right back up the middle, just like Kelly did against Fry in the 8th.
A pinch runner is going to be inserted into this game. Eric Beatty, the second-year manager, pulling out all the stops. Trey Lipsy, the junior from Ohio State, going to pinch run for Brady Donay. So Lipsy off first. Lane off third. And a pitching change as Kelly Nicholson, for the 4th time in the last 2 innings, goes to his bullpen, and he chooses Derek Clark. With the tying run on first, the go-ahead run at the plate, 2 outs in the top of the 9th, in need of 1 more. You'll find out if Clark can get it or if we're going to the bottom of the 9th. In just a moment, we'll be right back on the Birds Broadcast Network. A 2-out single from a pinch hitter, Brady Donay, keeps this game alive for Hyannis in the top of the ninth. Riley Fry out. The new arm, Derek Clark, the rising senior from Northwood University at the Division II level from Michigan, Dylan. But he's been nothing short of a spectacle to watch out here on the Cape.
Yes, and it's a big day for Derek Clark as well. Committed today to West Virginia. So he's looking to make his big day even better with the final out of this game.
Yes, congratulations to Derek. He has been a fantastic starting pitcher over the last few seasons for Northwood University. A Michigan native through and through. Dominated at the Division II level with Northwood. But Northwood's head coach leaving for the Central Michigan job just a few days ago. Clark entered the portal. And thanks not only to a couple dominant seasons with Northwood, but a great start to the summer here in Orleans, he's transferring to play some Big 12 baseball with the West Virginia Mountaineers. Can he get one big out as manager Kelly Nicholson, a win away from 400 on his fantastic coaching career here with the Orleans Firebirds. Runner on third is Alex Lane. He walked off Riley Fry. Aaron Parker was now being pinch ran for by Trey Lipsy at first. Pop up, foul, and out of the park to left. It all comes down to the bat of a leadoff man, left fielder, Nick Mitchell. Mitchell, with one hit tonight, it came in the third inning, a double. He's also struck out once. Clark's 0-1, on the ground. Oyama scoops it easily, throw to first. There it is. 20 games into the 2023 season, the 22nd season for Kelly Nicholson in Orleans, and it's win number 400 for the skipper, who now becomes the 7th in the 100-year history of the Cape Cod Baseball League to achieve the milestone. Orleans wins by a final score 8-6. 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Changed the tide in this game. Kelly Nicholson, Eric Beatty, one of the youngest managers in the league, one of the more experienced managers in the league, and Nicholson. And there it is. You see it low on your screen. 760 games, now 400 wins for Coach K.
Every win so special. This one maybe a little bit more stressful than he wanted it to be. Maybe a few more pitching changes than he wanted to make. 7 pitchers total used by the Firebirds today, but it doesn't matter. 400 wins for Coach Kelly Nicholson. A huge milestone for him. Big moment. Congratulations to one of the best managers in the Cape Cod Baseball League history.
He joins Scott Pickler, John Schiffner, Harvey Shapiro, Jeff Trundy, Mike Roberts, and Steve Englert as one of the 7 managers in Cape Cod Baseball League history to get 400 wins. And if you don't think this team that was just assembled a few weeks ago cares, look at the visual. Every single player fist bumping not only the entirety of the coaching staff, but the longtime math teacher from Loyola High School in Los Angeles, Kelly Nicholson. They knew. I think, Dylan, we really saw it come to fruition in the top of the 9th when Johnny Olmstead laid out for a ball in foul territory. He didn't get it, but it's summer ball. Guys usually aren't that dialed in, playing like it's life or death out here. But for a group that was just galvanized by one guy, it's a group that's tight, and it's all because of him.
That's right, and what can you say? I mean, such an effort. A team that really gave up a big inning in that third inning. 4 runs for Hyannis, but they battled back. Resiliency, right? Another comeback victory just like last night, and they finally reached the 500 mark that they've been desperately looking for the past week and a half.
Back to 500 on the year at 10-10. Back-to-back wins for Orleans, but that's not the storyline of tonight. In a crazy game that featured nearly 30 combined hits and a ton of lead changes, Kelly Nicholson gets the Gatorade bath, soaking wet, Kelly Nicholson can celebrate a massive accomplishment as he embraces his wife, Donna.
Maybe the hug that she didn't want from the manager with how wet he is now after the Gatorade shower.
You know, he talked to our writer, Brendan Nordstrom, after win number 399 last night and said, well, I don't really care about this. Only you guys care about it. You know, he might have just said that to say that. 400 wins just continues to exemplify the kind of person, the kind of leader, and most importantly, what he's known at in the professional world, the kind of teacher that he is. And he's being honored as such.
And 100% deserves it. What a moment, what a game. Maybe just, game 20 for some, but a game that Kelly Nicholson will never forget.
His 22nd year here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, every single season with this organization from Eldredge Park. Spent his first 4 years as the pitching coach after being the pitching coach at his alma mater, Loyola Marymount, out in California. Then took over for Carmen Carcone in 2005. Won a championship with him when he was his assistant. And now wins the championship in 2005. It's been a little while since then, but so many great wins in between. 4 times he's won the Mike Curran Award for Manager of the Year. 5 East Division titles. And as we bring it over to the sideline here, Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore. Dylan, we've just had the honor of getting to know Kelly Nicholson, right? I mean, we've only been here a month. We had a chance to interview him in the preseason. And we've only heard nothing but great things heading in. But just to get to know the guy and know how much he has love for the game, has love for the guys he brings in, all the words that we heard coming in kind of held up and then some.
Yeah, not only is he one of the most winningest coaches in the Cape Cod Baseball League history, but one of the nicest guys as well. And when you have a coach who's there to win, also a coach who knows a lot, and a coach that really has such a commitment for this league and his job, but also takes it off the field as well when the lights aren't bright and the camera's not on, is just one of the nicest dudes that you're going to ever meet.
Kelly Nicholson, somebody who grew up around the game of baseball, was a pitcher at the collegiate level at Loyola Marymount, coached for them, coached for Loyola High School, now here in the Cape Cod Baseball League where he's been for the last 22 years, 18 of them as a manager. Tonight, Coach K gets win number 400. But Dylan, how did he get there? I mean, this was an unreal game, back-to-back crazy nights here from Eldredge, and they just keep coming. And this team just keeps proving that they're going to find a way to win at the end of the game.
You got it, Ian. I mean, they just keep coming and they keep coming. And it was pitching, pitching, and pitching. 7 pitchers out of the bullpen, or 6 out of the bullpen, including the starter, Dylan Jacobs. That's 7. For the Firebirds, they combined for 27 outs. They got their way there, but the offense, once again, was on their game. 8 runs tonight, continue to hit the ball. I mean, everyone had an impact. I think the biggest hit of the night is actually one that really didn't come up in a clutch situation. Henry Hunter, a 2-run home run in the second inning that got the Firebirds on the board. He really needed that, and it kind of galvanized the bench. You know, when you're on a team and maybe one guy's struggling, you're really hoping that he can get going. Henry Hunter hits the 2-run home run and brings a lot of energy to that locker room, to that clubhouse, to that bench in that second inning.
The Alabama Birmingham catcher who didn't have a hit for his last 15 headed into tonight. The 2-run home run in his best night as a Firebird, sparking the early lead. Hyannis took it back. We'll go back to the field now, just show you what it looks like here from Eldredge Park. Another packed stadium tonight. And packed for a reason, not only just to watch the Firebirds ahead of the 4th of July. So many great fans of his team. But to see Kelly Nicholson, you see him here right now with Sammy Miller. Check our YouTube page out at Orleans Firebirds to see that interview when it's all said and done. But a surreal feeling. Win number 400 for Kelly Nicholson. And there's still a lot of season to go. But this season looks like it's headed in the right direction. Right, Dylan? I mean, back-to-back wins, something we've been waiting to say for a while. Why do you think tonight was the night that the Birds finally overcame that win-loss streak and broke through?
I think tonight was the night because they continue to play consistently offensively, continually putting up runs, getting hits when needed, 2-out hits. I mean, the hit that kind of goes under the radar is the 2 RBI single from Eddie King to tie the game at 4, which was in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And 2 outs after a few outs that really didn't go the Firebirds' way. 2 RBI single right up the middle for Eddie King, who himself wasn't having the greatest season. He needed that hit, and he got it.
Got the hit. A lot of big hits late in the game. Also some big pitching performances. You know, Kelly Nicholson, a former pitcher himself, a pitching coach here with Orleans. He plays a matchup game better than almost anybody, Dylan. And tonight, maybe it was expected, but 3 different pitchers in that 8th inning where things could have gotten out of control, and it didn't. What did you think of the moves that Nicholson decided to bust out there in order to keep the lead?
It was all hands on deck, and that's all he could say, from lefty to righty. Player matchups, player anything, it was just to get the outs, and that's the best thing about baseball. You can't run out the clock like a basketball, like a football. There's no kneels in baseball. You have to get the guy out, no matter how long it takes, and the Firebirds did just that. Mix and match, bring a new guy in, a lot of traffic from the bullpen to the field, but it's not as bad as the 6A, and that's what they did tonight to get the final out.
Owen Carpellotti showing just how much he cares for this team that Kelly Nicholson's assembled. So much so that him brushing off home plate is kind of blocking our view of Coach K, the 18th year manager. Still being interviewed by Sammy Miller. Again, you can find that interview on our YouTube channel tomorrow morning, if not later tonight, if you want to stay up and continue to celebrate a great night if you're an Orleans Firebirds fan. For the longest tenured manager in team history, Kelly Nicholson gets win number 400 in his 18th year at the helm of the Firebirds. Thanks so much for watching, again, on the Birds Broadcast Network. Orleans, an 8-6 win against Hyannis. Firebirds back to 500 for the first time since they were 2-2. It's been a while. Still 3rd in the East Division, 5-4 in their last 9. Hyannis drops to 10-9-1. Their win streak of 2 games snapped. They also sit in the middle of the West Division. Before we go, got to thank our post-game sponsor here on Cooling Down on the Birds Broadcast Network, and that is, of course, Mazzio Construction. Mazzio Construction LLC works hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. The team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work, and let them see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction LLC. You see it at the bottom of your screen. You may not have known it heading into tonight, but you know the guy who will always be associated with the Firebirds. Off to the right of your screen, still chatting it up with Hyannis manager Eric Beatty. Kelly Nicholson, in his 18th year at the helm, in his 760th game as manager of the Firebirds, gets to win 400. And the 10th win on a 2023 season for the Birds. Make sure to join us tomorrow night. The Chatham Anglers come to town. A 6:30 start here from Eldredge Park. 4th of July celebration if you can't make it. If you're celebrating with family, tune in. Here on the Birds Broadcast Network, we go live at 6:15. For Dylan Pescatore, Sammy Miller, our producer Will Lundrigan, and everybody with PAC Network, Ian Nicholas saying good night and congratulations, Coach Nicholson, on win number 400.